5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios, this is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
Mr. Secretary, sometimes a handshake is just a handshake, but when the leader of the free world shakes the bloody hand of a ruthless dictator like Raul Castro, it becomes a propaganda coup for the tyrant. Raul Castro uses that hand to sign the orders to repress and jail democracy advocates. In fact, right now, as we speak, Cuban opposition leaders are being detained and they're being beaten while trying to commemorate today, which is International Human Rights Day. They will feel disheartened when they see these photos. Could you please tell the Cuban people living under that repressive regime that a handshake notwithstanding, the U.S. policy toward the cruel and sadistic Cuban dictatorship has not weakened?
I got to tell you, that was just, it really makes you proud to be a U.S. citizen, to know that there are people like that in Congress, folks. Welcome as we start the week here on the Steve Malzberg Show, the week before Christmas. I can't believe it, although the weather outside is going to be frightful around here anyway. Joining us now is the chair of the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee, Congresswoman Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, a Republican from the great state of Florida. Hello, Congresswoman.
Well, thank you so much, and happy the week before Christmas.
Same to you.
Well, you know, it's a cold front here in Miami. It's big news, top of the hour. It's 76 degrees.
I love when you people down in Florida do that to us up here. I know it.
It really is news. Oh, my gosh, everybody's saying. And it's going to stay cool the whole week.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, well, we're getting another snowstorm tomorrow. So anyway, but you know, that I got to tell you, that was just great the way you confronted Kerry. And the answer I got from him is what I would expect. I really can't believe anything he says anymore. Now it turns out that, and of course, you were talking about the handshake at the Mandela funeral where Obama shook Castro's hand. And now it turns out, just like with Iran, they had been talking to Iran for months prior to that phone call that Obama made to the limo of the Iranian president and then said, oh, we're going to start talks now. They had been talking. And now it turns out, according to some reports, they're talking to the Cuban government as well.
Absolutely. It's all a ruse. This is the Obama administration is built on a facade and a ruse and a hoax, and they just can't come up with enough words to describe the non-reality focus of this administration and their inability to want to tell the American people the truth, or maybe it's their inability to even tell the truth. I don't know if they want to do it or they're just unable to tell truth from fiction anymore. But on the case of Iran, this is people are right now in their cars or at home, and they're thinking, that has nothing to do with me. Well, Iran having a nuclear weapons capability is a problem not just for Israel, even though it's always focused as an Israeli problem. It's a problem for U.S. security interests, and it's a problem for our allies throughout the world. We have security interests throughout that region. And that means that it's not just nuclear breakout capability, it's the weapons with which to carry those nuclear weapons. I mean, they can with these missiles, they can fire them off anywhere and everywhere, and that's why the people should be concerned. What else is going on that we are not privy to? The administration that promised to be the most transparent in American history is the most opaque, and when they can't obfuscate, they lie, and it's been frustration after frustration. Now it turns out that they have been in negotiations with Iran all along, and that's why it has been so difficult for us to pass these sanctions. I'm the author of the toughest sanctions laws on the books, and that's a bill that we passed last year that this administration has yet to implement. And we're trying to pass tougher sanctions now, but heck, we'd be satisfied if they just put into effect the ones that they have passed. So the president put it on as a campaign commercial during the elections, how tough he was on Iran, and now I know why he had to be led kicking and screaming,
yep.
and he was forced to sign the law, because they've been in negotiations all along.
Yep, it's very scary. And now with Cuba, which is a personal spot in your heart, of course, having come from there, getting out of there as a child. And if I was President Obama and I decided to shake Castro's hand, of course, now we know they've been talking. But that aside, my first reaction before we knew that was I would have looked him in the eye and said, "Release Alan Gross." I had Bill Richardson on here, and he made some news about a week or so ago, and where he said he went to Cuba, he tried to negotiate, he thought he had Alan Gross out, but then he made a mistake. He said, "I screwed it up, Steve." He went to the press, he said he had a deal, and then they backed off on it. But this is intolerable.
Absolutely, and to think that we have to negotiate over the life of an American citizen who has been unjustly tried and sentenced to harsh prison terms. He's now entering his 5th year, and this is a contractor with the USAID who was in charge of giving communication equipment to the very tiny Jewish community in Cuba. And the Castro regime knew what Alan Gross was doing. I mean, they check everyone when they come in, and they track all of those folks. And just one time they decided, okay, that's it. We've had enough. This is a very haphazard, whatever regime that cares very little about the Cuban people's lives and wherewithal. Why would they care about an American citizen? So what has the U.S. done in response to an American citizen being unjustly sentenced and jailed under terrible conditions? We've made concession after concession. Right now we're battling the administration because they want to give a visa to this orchestra as part of their cultural exchange program with the Cuban regime. And this orchestra is one of the official bands of the Castro regime, and they actually play in front of dissidents' house, chanting to them so that
Castro can't hear it.
So that other people join in.
Yeah,
and they can't hear it. And this the administration is wanting to give them, as part of the cultural exchange, a visa to come to the United States so they can spew anti-American rhetoric and pro-Castro rhetoric.
Does it surprise you, though? Does it surprise you, Congresswoman?
No, it does.
No, let me ask you. We're talking to Congresswoman Eliana Ross-Leighton, Republican of Florida, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. I got to ask you about this NSA considering an amnesty for Snowden. I mean, here's a guy who took, now they're saying 1.6 million documents. Okay.
Yes, a treasure trove. The keys to the kingdom.
Yeah. And they're willing to make, in other words, say, okay, you come back, no charges, amnesty, as long as you don't tell anybody anything else and give us everything you have. How could you trust a guy like this?
This is unbelievable. This administration is so gullible. They're willing to make wheels and deals, and with whether it's Kim Jong-un in North Korea, heaven knows what we're doing with them, what kind of deals we're doing with the Castro regime, the Iranian regime, negotiations in secret. And, all of those sanctions against Iran, they're way lower threshold than U.S. law and way lower than the UN Security Council resolution. So I expect for them to say, hey, look, Iran has fully complied with all these sanctions, sure, because you've made him at the kindergarten level.
Right.
And with Snowden, they're considering him, well, let's give him, as long as he can give us back the documents, let's give him amnesty. What? This is unbelievable. It just makes you want to tear your hair out.
Yeah, it really does, especially, as a layman sitting here from afar, and for you dealing with this every day up close, it's very frightening is what it is on every level what this president is doing.
And they just don't own up to it. That's the maddening thing about it, is that, well, even PolitiFact, which is no friend of conservatives, they label the Obamacare falsehood.
The lie of the year,
yeah. Lie of the year.
Yeah.
And Sebelius was here in Miami on Friday, and the Miami Herald, Mark Caputo, reporter, hats off to him. He tried to really have her respond. Is this a lie? Did you mislead people? And she turned the other way and just
wouldn't answer.
In
typical Obama administration fashion. Listen, Congresswoman, I hope you'll come back in the future.
Well, you bet, and I won't rub it in about how this cold front that's coming tomorrow. It's coming down to 72.
Well, you put on a sweater because I'm worried about you. I got to go. Thank you, Congresswoman.
Okay, thank you.
Congresswoman Eliana Ross-Leighton, and ladies and gentlemen, on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
constipation, gas, bloating. Most people suffer through. But now there's a simple solution for occasional digestive problems called Bactipro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Bactipro is the fiber probiotic formula that supports healthy digestive and immune health. And it comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. Bactipro contains 6 powerful strains of beneficial probiotic bacteria, dietary fiber, and bacteria-nourishing prebiotics, plus powerful antioxidants. Now you can receive a 30-day supply of Bactipro. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Bactipro.com/special. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Improve your digestive health now. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Bactipro.com/special. That's BACTIPRO.com/special. Bactipro.com/special.
Drug, alcohol, and gambling addiction can be devastating for you and your loved ones. Don't let the disease of addiction ruin everything you've worked so hard for. The Treatment Helpline has helped thousands of people just like you take control of their addictions and live healthier, cleaner, and happier lives. You are not alone. Now there's hope. The Treatment Helpline has helped people just like you overcome their addiction. If you or a loved one is suffering from a drug, alcohol, or gambling addiction, let us help you today. Call 1-800-813-9821. Our seasoned addiction treatment professionals can show you how to use your private health insurance to help cover the costs of this life-changing program. Call now and get a free confidential consultation. 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821. Help is only a phone call away. Call 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821.
If your prostate is giving you problems and your doc says it's just part of getting older, be wary. Renowned physician and author Dr. David Brownstein thinks this is baloney. He's discovered a link between aging and prostate health and believes prostate concerns do not have to be an inevitable part of aging. That's why he created Prostate Revive.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Brownstein. I personally formulated Prostate Revive to include the most essential natural ingredients available to help promote a healthy prostate gland and optimal urinary function.
The producers of Dr. Brownstein's Prostate Revive are so thrilled with the positive feedback from satisfied customers that for a limited time, they are willing to send you your first month's supply free. Plus, call now and you'll also receive Dr. Brownstein's special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate. For details on getting your free bottle, call 1-800-596-REVIVE. That's 1-800-596-REVIVE. Take control with Prostate Revive. Call now while supplies last to claim your risk-free bottle at 1-800-596-REVIVE.
Are payday loans ruining your life? If you have 2 or more payday loan cash advances, listen closely. You may be eligible for a program that payday loan companies don't want you to know about.
This program will get payday loan companies out of your bank account and put an end to the payday loan nightmare. Call for free information and find out if Payday Loan Support Center is right for you. Payday loan companies usually trap you into paying rates as high as 700%. We understand payday lenders' tactics. Don't let them take advantage of you anymore. All you need is 2 or more payday loans to qualify. We can help even if you're behind in collections or have bad credit.
Internet payday loans qualify for this program as well. So call 800-250-5084. That's 800-250-5084. The call is free and the consultation is free. Don't miss out. Call for your free information on payday loan relief. 800-250-5084. That's 800-250-5084. Again, 800-250-5084.
According to the FBI Uniform Crime Report, there are over 5,000 robberies every day. Your home could be at risk of being burglarized. Don't put your loved ones and valuables in jeopardy. For just over $1 per day, your home can be protected from break-ins, fire, and more. Get the latest home security technology from Protect Your Home, your ADT authorized dealer. Over 6 million households sleep better at night with ADT monitored home security. What's more, Protect Your Home is offering you their latest equipment, an $850 value, absolutely free for qualified customers. Protect your loved ones and home today. Call now for licenses and to find out more. The call is free, 1-800-949-8201. That's 1-800-949-8201. Again, 1-800-949-8201. $99 installation charge, 36-month monitoring agreement at $36.99 per month. Payment by credit card or electronic bank account charge. For new homeowner customers with satisfied Satisfactory credit history only. Local permit fees may be required. Certain restrictions apply. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall & Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall & Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall & Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax...
Highly likely, by those of us who opposed it, to make things worse. And here we are now, almost 3.5 years later, and all of those things are coming to fruition. There are headlines every day. There are 5.5 million people who got their policies canceled. Costs are going up. Deductibles and copays are going up. Networks and access to physicians and hospitals are going down. One piece of that is when you create a benefit package that is so broad and cannot be tailored much more so to the individual needs of families, you're seeing costs go up even higher.
Absolutely. Costs, deductibles, it's insane after we were promised not only you could keep your health insurance if you like it, you could keep your doctor if you like him, but your costs will go down $2,500 a family. I mean, families who are going on, individuals who are going on are getting, I mean, you know, they say sticker shock and it's kind of become a very, innocuous term, but this is frightening for a lot of people now.
Well, I think it's a reasonable criticism to say that every time there's been an initiative that the president has put out there that has been unsuccessful, the president and the Democrats and their advisors have simply said it's a messaging problem. And they refuse to believe that the policies that they have been promoting are actually failing. And one thing that is so different about healthcare policy compared to, let's say, foreign policy is that it really touches the lives of so many Americans on a day-to-day basis. And the more they talk, the worse it seems, because they continually make promises that when people just open their eyes or open their mail, they're identifying as not actually true.
Yeah. All right, Doctor. Now, what does this mean for also small businesses? I mean, small businesses are going to get hit really hard with this this EHB, correct?
Right. Well, one of the issues with this grandfather clause saying that if your policies change in any substantive way after March of 2010, when the law was signed, that those policies have to be redone. And in the Obama administration's own filings for court cases, they've really identified that there's really up to 100 million policies that may even be at risk. I think they said that number, up to 2/3 of all the policies. And small businesses are already getting killed. Regulations go up. Small businesses do not have the luxury of having a stable of attorneys and accountants at their beck and call to try to navigate through these difficulties. And healthcare is becoming just another one of those issues. And what is going to happen, and what are we seeing happening, is already the trend towards fewer small employers offering healthcare benefits to their employees. We are in the process of seeing that trend rapidly escalate.
Yeah, and we're talking right now to Dr. Eric Novak, orthopedic surgeon here on the Steve Malzberg Show. He co-authored a piece with Senator John Kyle at the in the Washington Times the other day, talking about tossing Obamacare anchored to small businesses. So that's small businesses. But you mentioned 100 million people. Do you agree? Do you believe that at this point next year, people who have employer-driven or provided insurance policies, even not small business, but big companies, that we're all going to be in the same boat? I mean, that 80 to 100 million of us might lose that?
Well, I think what we can say with certainty is that assuming that the law is actually being implemented as Congress passed it, and it's the president's duty to actually implement, that a huge number in the many tens of millions will see significant disruptions in the way they access health care than they've been doing up until this point. Yeah. And that is why the president arbitrarily has been changing these deadlines and rewriting the law, because they're actually realizing that, you know what, if we actually implement what we said, it's going to be a disaster. So they keep kicking the can down the road, and they're hoping that if they can introduce these bad provisions and bad policies one at a time, that somehow people won't notice. What we are seeing is that is not the case.
We have
People aren't noticing.
I'm sorry, we have less than a minute. You say in your piece, if this isn't tossed out as unconstitutional, do you think that there's a chance in this? Another court here in New York just ruled that a bunch of Catholic schools do not have to follow the mandate on birth control. Do you think this is going to be tossed out in about 20 seconds here?
I don't think so. I think ultimately we're going to have to rely on the fact that it is a bad policy. It's bad for the American people, and that the Democrats need to realize that it's time to essentially start from scratch.
All right, Doctor, thank you very, very much. Appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. All right, Dr. Eric Novak, orthopedic surgeon here on the Steve Malzberg Show, ladies and gentlemen. All right, when we come back, why has the media been dishonest? Oh my gosh, the media has been dishonest on the shooting in Colorado, and the FBI giving an excuse or a disclaimer to the airport guy in Kansas and Wichita. I got to tell you, what if I told you it turned out that classmates of the shooter in Colorado, the 18-year-old shooter from last Friday, called him a socialist and said he has very strong political beliefs, and on his Facebook page, reportedly, he trashes Republicans. What if this guy was a Tea Party member? That's all you would have heard. But a socialist who hates Republicans? Shh. And the FBI saying that this wannabe jihadist perverted a peaceful religion? It's their job to say that? Holy mackerel, we are in trouble in this country, and the media is not talking about it. I am, and that's what we'll talk about in the next segment. We'll have a long segment. We'll play you some sound bites, and if you're not outraged yet, you will be on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Constipation, gas, bloating. Most people suffer through. But now there's a simple solution for occasional digestive problems called Bactipro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Bactipro is the fiber probiotic formula that supports healthy digestive and immune health. And it comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. Bactipro contains 6 powerful strains of beneficial probiotic bacteria, dietary fiber, and bacteria-nourishing prebiotics, plus powerful antioxidants. Now you can receive a 30-day supply of Bactipro. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Bactipro.com/special. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Improve your digestive health now. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Bactipro.com/special. That's BACTIPRO.com/special. Bactipro.com/special.
If you are successful at what you do, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a business owner, or you have a great career, you understand the concept of protecting yourself. Well, are you protecting yourself, your family, and your assets with quality term life insurance? Consider these possible rates. A man age 45 non-tobacco user could obtain $1 million of coverage for as little as $75 a month. And this rate is fixed for the next 10 years. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. A man age 50 non-tobacco user may be able to obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $115 a
According to the FBI Uniform Crime Report, there are over 5,000 robberies every day. Your home could be at risk of being burglarized. Don't put your loved ones and valuables in jeopardy. For just over $1 per day, your home can be protected from break-ins, fire, and more. Get the latest home security technology from Protect Your Home, your ADT authorized dealer. Over 6 million households sleep better at night with ADT monitored home security. What's more, Protect Your Home is offering you their latest equipment, an $850 value, absolutely free for qualified customers. Protect your loved ones and home today. Call now for licenses and to find out more. The call is free, 1-800-949-8201. That's 1-800-949-8201. Again, 1-800-949-8201. $99 installation charge, 36-month monitoring agreement at $36.99 per month. Payment by credit card or electronic bank account charge. For new homeowner customers with satisfactory credit history only. Local permit fees may be required. Certain restrictions apply. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Tired of calls, levies, and liens from the IRS or hiring others who don't get the job done? Call Wall and Associates and you'll never talk to the IRS again. The IRS has a program to eliminate tax debt, and Wall and Associates professionals are trained to maximize its benefits for you. You always speak with a live person with real support and real knowledge. We've helped thousands of taxpayers like you settle their tax debt with the IRS for a fraction of what they owe. We solve tax problems. Call Wall and Associates now. 800-574-6029. We have the professionals who know how to solve tax problems. If you owe money to the IRS, your tax problems are not going away by themselves, and the passage of time will only make matters worse. Act now, before it's too late. Call Wall & Associates right now to speak to a professional tax relief agent. Call 800-574-6029. That's 800-574-6029. Again, 800-574-6029.
Men, this is the time in your life when you have more freedom to travel, more time for leisure, including an active lifestyle, even renewed intimacy. The last thing you want is the hassle of an aging prostate. Frequent trips to the bathroom also keep you awake at night. But here's good news. Renowned
for 6029.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll-free at 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
Today's actions by this individual were a choice on his part. It was a choice to act upon an intent to do harm. By no means is this based or should it reflect on any religious community or a house of worship. To hijack a peaceful religion, to manipulate it and exploit it to justify one's criminal actions is in no reflection upon an individual community or their religious beliefs.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show here on Newsmax TV and radio. And what you just heard was Special FBI Agent Michael Case in Wichita, Kansas, last Friday, announcing that and he made a point to say a white 58-year-old male, Terry Lee Lowen, was charged with attempting to use a weapon of mass destruction, attempting to damage property. He worked at the airport in Wichita. He wanted to use his access to the tarmac to blow up a plane, and he wanted to commit jihad. And what you just heard was the FBI agent in charge of the investigation give a disclaimer. He gave a disclaimer for a radical Islamic jihadist and for Islam. Now, I am not one to say that the religion of Islam, you know, is a religion of peace, is not a religion of peace. I haven't read the Quran. But this man who was arrested read the Quran, and let me just tell you what he said. According to our friends at the Investigative Project on Terrorism, Stephen Emerson, according to a three-count complaint, Lowen discussed his view of faith as a Muslim, that including his expressing, quote, his desire to engage in violent jihad on behalf of Al-Qaeda, end quote. And then he said, according to an FBI employee, I don't understand how you can read the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet and not understand that jihad and the implementation of Sharia is absolutely demanded of all the Muslim Ummah. So here you have a radical Islamic jihadist, thank God stopped before he could do what he set out to do, who, according to the Investigative Project on Terrorism, said that he wanted to be an obedient slave of Allah. And there you have the FBI saying, hey, this guy perverted a peaceful religion. Now, again, whether you agree with that or disagree with that, what the heck is going on here? Since when does the FBI arrest somebody, arrest a terrorist, and then say, remember, he was just exploiting a peaceful religion. What? Is that going to be the pattern going forward? If Barack Obama were president, and make no mistake, this is all about the Obama administration and the limitations they've placed on the FBI, whether it's interrogation of terrorist suspects, whether it's training the FBI agents, whether it's what the FBI agents can say, banned words that they cannot use related to terrorism and Islamic terrorism. So if, God forbid, going forward, some terrorist blows something up and he's arrested, is the FBI agent going to sit there and say, and I want everybody to remember, they have perverted a peaceful religion? Where is it incumbent upon the FBI to say that? What is that about? We're getting scolded and schooled by the FBI on Islam? Are they kidding me? No, they're not kidding me. Or they're not kidding you. This is the Abomination. I know you're used to it by now, but the hits just keep on coming. Outrageous. Can we play that just one more time? Cut 24. I want you to listen. Talking about this guy. Now, all you evil people out there who might think Islam has a radical side to it. No, 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 no. Here we go.
Today's actions by this individual were a choice on his part. It was a choice to act upon an intent to do harm. By no means is this based or should it reflect on any religious community or a house of worship. To hijack a peaceful religion, to manipulate it and exploit it to justify one's criminal actions is a no reflection upon an individual community or their religious beliefs.
The guy said he did it because he wanted to be an obedient servant, obedient slave to Allah. He said, how could you read the Quran and not understand that jihad and Sharia are the way? I wonder if this FBI agent has read the entire Quran to the extent that this arrested would-be jihadist read the Quran. Just mind-boggling that this is where we are now, that the FBI is now reading disclaimers for arrested terrorists, okay, and why they did what they did. Now let's move on to a media that is so disgusting it makes me sick. This Colorado high school shooter last week. I've been watching TV. I've been watching everything, including Fox News, all weekend. All weekend. This 18-year-old shooter, a punk, okay, a coward, who went into school after a teacher, couldn't find the teacher. He shot a girl, a beautiful, beautiful girl in his high school. He shot her in the head. A punk of the worst kind, a coward of the worst kind. And then he shot another kid, less seriously, fortunately, and then, fortunately, again, killed himself. Because all I heard all weekend was he came armed to the teeth. He had rounds of ammunition taped to his body, Molotov cocktails. One went off in the school. There were others found in the school. This guy came loaded for bear. He wanted to kill people. I guess he became the true coward that he was and killed himself. Okay, so we read all about this. But what you didn't hear about, and unless you read the Denver Post very quickly, you're not going to read about it. That's why we're here. I knew there was some reason we were here. That must be why we're here. Let me just tell you about this. There's a story, and it's from thedenverpost.com, and it talks about. Let me tell you what it says. It quotes a Facebook post from this 18-year-old punk. And in it, Pearson attacks the philosophies of his economic teacher, who I guess he was after, and he doesn't like it, okay? He doesn't like it. But then he says about Republicans in another Facebook posting, he writes, quote, "You Republicans are so cute. The Republican Party, health care, let them die. Climate change, let them die. Gun violence, let them die. Women's rights, let them die. More war, let them die. Is this really the side you want to be on?" Now, if this guy were a Tea Partier and had posted about Democrats and Obama, oh, my God. Oh, my God. The Tea Party, they'd be Chuck Schumer would be there and say, we got to outlaw the Tea Party. Look what it results in shootings and destruction. Notice how he pumps the fist if you're watching on Newsmax TV. It's like a white man who can't dance, Charles Schumer. Somebody told him to pump his fist when he talks, and he can't get it right. Way out of rhythm. Anyway, so this guy was an anti-Republican, and let's take it a step further. They quote a classmate. Thomas Conrad, who had an economics class with the gunman, described him as a, quote, a very opinionated socialist. A very opinionated socialist. Now, if he was a very opinionated Tea Party member, oh my God. OMG for you young people out there. Maybe you'll understand that one. He was exuberant, I guess. Thomas Conrad, an economics classmate, told the Denver Post. Now, let me tell you why I even bring this up. First of all, you haven't heard it anywhere, right? Right. Second of all, third of all, and fourth of all, it's been sanitized from the Denver Post. They've taken it out. You couldn't get the Denver Post now and go online or pick up the paper and find that article. They took out the socialist quote. That's right. To protect, socialists? Well, let me tell you. And we're going to talk to Noah Rothman of Mediaite tomorrow on this show. But he wrote a piece at Mediaite. And he says, this most recent event, on Friday, the Denver Post published a piece in which they delved into the shooter's outspokenness regarding his political beliefs. A number of students talked to the Post about the shooter's left-leaning political philosophy, his desire to see stricter federal gun regulations, his regular mockery of Republican office holders, and his devotion to Keynesian-style economics. Whoa. Well, the Denver Post saw fit to print all of this. That's how I was able to find it. That's how I was able to read it to you. But as our friend Noah points out at Mediaite.com, this statement, the one about him being a socialist, was, however, retroactively deemed by the Post's editors to have been too inflammatory. The Denver Post editors think socialism's a bad word? Socialism's not a name. It's not like you're calling someone a name like, nah, you're a socialist. It's a name. There are socialists. There are communists. There are socialists. There are, there are capitalists. It's not a derogatory term unless you're scared to have it come out that a socialist, anti-Republican lunatic who shot 2 people in a school was a socialist, and you want to hide that. And let me read you what the editor had to say. That description was edited out of the story, as Noah says, with no explanation. The shooter evolved from a very opinionated socialist to very opinionated. They took out socialist. They took out the word socialist. Okay? And the shooter, opinionated. About what, says Noah? Well, the reader's left to put the pieces together for himself. Now, this was not, when confronted about the decision to stealthily cleanse the piece of the shooter's politics, Denver Post senior editor Leanne Calasiopo revealed a particularly insidious mindset behind the decision, says Noah. Quote, we decided not to have another student apply a label to the shooter, a label that the student likely didn't even understand. Really? A high school student in an economics class with the shooter says he's an opinionated socialist, and this high school student doesn't know what a socialist means? Why don't you just say that the student opined that he was a outspoken socialist? Can't have that? Can't have that? Folks, what we have here now, okay, and thanks to the folks at Mediaite, and I can't wait to talk to Noah tomorrow, we have in one instance an Islamic would-be terrorist, okay, who wanted to commit jihad and be a devoted slave to Allah, arrested. And the FBI says, oh, he perverted a peaceful religion. And here we have a student who shot up his high school And he's a socialist. He's mocked Republicans. He hates Republicans, if that Facebook post is true. And the Denver Post says, shh, we got to erase that. And not one news outlet have I seen telling this story, except Mediaite. Disgraceful. That's why we're here on the Steve Malzberg Show, to educate you on Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Hi, this is Mike Reagan. You need to watch out because thousands of new Obamacare rules are currently being implemented, and few know what the law says or does. Listen to what Senator Max Baucus, one of the authors of the Obamacare law, recently said.
I tell you, I just see a huge train wreck coming down, and I don't see any results yet. I just see a huge train wreck.
He's right. So protect yourself from this train wreck. Get the #1 bestseller, the Obamacare Survival Guide. Newsmax says it's the best guide to the new law. Join more than 500,000 Americans who have their copy. Get the Obamacare Survival Guide at bookstores everywhere, or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 off the cover price by going now to Obamacare911.com. That's Obamacare911.com. That's Obamacare911.com.
If you are successful at what you do, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a business owner, or you have a great career, you understand the concept of protecting yourself. Well, are you protecting yourself, your family, and your assets with quality term life insurance? Consider these possible rates. A man age 45, non-tobacco user could obtain $1 million of coverage for as little as $75 a month, and this rate is fixed for the next 10 years. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. A man age 50, non-tobacco user may be able to obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $115 a month. And this rate is fixed for the next 20 years. We have great rates for smokers too. Call the Term Lifeline now. 800-430-1309, 800-430-1309, 800-430-1309.
Meet John and Nancy. Like many people, John and Nancy have spent their whole lives working hard, saving their money and investing wisely, knowing that it would pay off in the end. But the reality is, today's world is not the same as it was. John and Nancy's stocks have taken them on a serious roller coaster ride, and it's all but destroyed their retirement funds. Their house is not even close to being worth what they paid, and to boot, their middle-class paychecks no longer cover their costs. All that hard work and smart investing has gotten them nowhere. In fact, they are no longer thinking about when they will retire, they're wondering if they'll retire. Then one day, John and Nancy heard about a man named Tom Hutchison, a veteran of Wall Street for over 2 decades. Tom noticed that the wealthy invested differently than normal people, and their methods seemed to be a secret they didn't want to share. So Tom left his job, compiled the strategies, and published them in the controversial book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns. John and Nancy immediately picked up a copy, began investing, and never looked back. Thanks to Powerful Secrets, John and Nancy now have investments that pay up to 20% a year. They learned about unique tax-advantaged investments, and their favorite chapter revealed a strategy that anyone can use to turn $50,000 into $1 million. Now, John and Nancy have control of their financial future in this new reality, and they have peace of mind about their investments that they never had before. Best of all, they are back on track to a secure retirement. To get your free copy of the book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns, simply visit www.myfinancialage.org.
If you're a man over 40, your prostate could be forcing you to urinate frequently, even disrupting your sleep multiple times each night. You're not alone. Over half of men over 40 experience age-related prostate concerns. Fortunately, prominent medical doctor David Brownstein believes that aging prostate concerns are not inevitable. That's why Dr. Brownstein developed Prostate Revive, an advanced dietary supplement containing a unique blend of 15 ingredients designed to promote optimal prostate health. So men, as part of this new radio promotion, you now have the opportunity to claim your own 30-day supply of Prostate Revive, containing saw palmetto, beta-cytosterol, and numerous other prostate helpers. Just cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act now, you'll also get a doctor's guide to a healthy prostate as a bonus gift. Please visit prostaterevive.com/radio for details on getting your 30-day supply of Prostate Revive and free report. That's prostaterevive.com/radio. Do something about those annoying age-related prostate concerns. Visit prostaterevive.com/radio now while supplies last.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll free at 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you back to the Steve Malzberg Show, and joining us in studio. I don't know, I guess you just fell here by accident from your trips around the country. Newsmax TV anchor John Bachman, who is the host of a very special that starts today on Newsmax TV.
Yes, it's going to be airing throughout the holiday season. We're doing a special documentary, if you will, based on the magazine, the December issue of the magazine, which we featured 25 stories of American heroes. These are stories that people have probably heard throughout the year.
And it's called Newsmax American Heroes.
Newsmax American Heroes.
And let me hold up the magazine. There you go. There it is. See, there
Great work by the folks at the magazine.
Absolutely. The newest edition of Newsmax, the magazine. Get it and read all about the 25 stories honoring bravery and coverage in the magazine. And you talked to 6 of the 25 for your special, right?
We did. We traveled the country, talked to 6 folks, well, more than 6, but 6 particular stories. We went from South Carolina all the way out to San Francisco in the Bay Area. Talked to some folks out there who rescued a family of 4 out of a sinking car.
Wow.
3 complete strangers get into the water, pull somebody out, or pull 4 people out of a car. But I want to introduce you to a guy named Larry Swilling.
Yeah, okay.
He's from Anderson, South Carolina, and this guy loves his wife more than anything, except maybe his fishing trips. We'll show that. But it's a true American love story, and this guy was willing to walk to Washington, D.C. from South Carolina to try and find his wife a new kidney, which he desperately needed. Let's play that clip.
There is nothing in life that Larry Swilling loves more than fishing, or his fishing gear, except maybe his wife, Jimmy Sue. Larry says she's been there with him through everything, through all the years, the ups and downs, all the fishing trips, ever since their wedding day 58 years ago.
Jimmy and I got married. I didn't have no whole lots. I had $7 on me. I had 5 in one pocket, 2 in another. We went to the local preacher, and I'd planned to give him $2, me take 5, and me and Jimmy should go out and get a hamburger. Well, I messed up and gave him the 5, so we had to do without the hamburger. But she's been with me all these years.
And now you saw Larry's collection of...
I love him already. What a great story. What a great personality.
And he's just as real as can be. And unfortunately, somebody came through, they saw his story. A woman named Kelly Weaverling, a retired Army vet, just gave up her kidney for a stranger. And these stories, that's a constant theme you'll hear in these stories when you read the magazine, if you watch the documentary. It's that basic goodness, that wholesomeness, that willingness to do something for your fellow man that makes this country great. And that's what the documentary's about. That's what the magazine article is all about.
Boy, do we need that right now. Let me just ask you, you say he walked to try to find, he wasn't raising money.
No.
He was walking, I mean, he was like, what, knocking, how did he go about trying to find people who might donate the kidney?
He was just walking the streets. He lives in a town called Anderson, South Carolina, which is, right there kind of on the Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee border. He was walking all over that area, Greenville, Spartanburg, trying to get as many people as he could to see that sign.
Wow.
And people started calling and calling and calling. In fact, they're still calling to this day. And what makes that story so great is that he's inspired other people to give up kidneys. The Medical University of South Carolina, which you saw a brief clip there, that's continued, and people are donating kidneys for other folks. It's kind of, spread. And so that's another thing you'll hear with these stories is that people have taken it to the next level. Even though they've got what they've needed or they've helped somebody out, the stories continue. And that's what we try to update people.
That is great. So how did this personally affect you? Because you went around the country for several weeks, basically, talking to people who are good, who are what America is all about, who are the best of the best, and it's got to be uplifting for you. I'm sure that watching the show will uplift all of us for the hour. But you've spent the better part of your last few months doing this.
Yeah, it was really great because, Steve, we cover politics so much, and we get down in the weeds, and we talk about the cloture rules and the things like this, and the fact that Congress has an 8% approval rating. But when you meet these people, you realize that the fundamental goodness of this country is still there, despite what you hear on most of the media coverage and in the school shootings and all that stuff. We cover that, and it's important that we cover that. But it's nice to get a little departure and talk about this stuff that's really good, especially this time of year, and you can kind of focus on the things that are right with this country.
Give us another quick one, if you can. Who sticks out in your mind?
Well, the 4 people that I met in Idaho, Mark and Krista John, and Mike and Mary Young. These are the 4 folks. They were horseback riding in the wilderness of Idaho,
and they found the girl.
They found the missing girl, Hannah Anderson. They are just. I mean, I met some true American cowboys. Mark John, he's a Vietnam vet. Did 3 tours in Vietnam as an Army Ranger. Was a sheriff's deputy after that. Just, these are just great people. And so we encourage folks to get the magazine, get a copy of the magazine.
Absolutely.
Tune into Newsmax TV and watch the documentary.
John Bachman, ladies and gentlemen. You see him all the time on Newsmax TV, and he is the host of this Newsmax American Heroes show, which starts today, and it's going to be on throughout the holiday season. So make sure you get it, and also make sure you pick up Newsmax the magazine with this cover, American Heroes, 25 stories honoring bravery and courage, and it's well worth it, believe me. And I can't wait to see the special. I have not seen the special, but I can't wait to see it. Thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
And you'll find your way back home.
Yeah, I'll find my way back home. And
I know
special
your wife
thanks
will be happy.
to everybody else who worked on this. It was a team effort and a lot of fun.
Great. Okay, we appreciate that. John Bachman,
Steve.
ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, again, with the Tea Party is racist, and boy, was there in a battle on MSNBC. Ron Christie, who filled in for me at one point here, longtime political analyst, will join us. He was defending the Tea Party on MSNBC. Not an easy task. You're going to want to hear how that conversation went on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Are payday loans ruining your life? If you have 2 or more payday loan cash advances, listen closely. You may be eligible for a program that payday loan companies don't want you to know about.
This program will get payday loan companies out of your bank account and put an end to the payday loan nightmare. Call for free information and find out if Payday Loan Support Center is right for you. Payday loan companies usually trap you into paying rates as high as 700%. We understand payday lenders' tactics. Don't let them take advantage of you anymore. All you need is 2 or more payday loans to qualify. We can help even if you're behind in collections or have bad credit.
Internet payday loans qualify for this program as well. So call 800-250-5084. That's 800-250-5084. The call is free and the consultation is free. Don't miss out. Call for your free information on payday loan relief. 800-250-5084. That's 800-250-5084. Again, 800-250-5084.
Larry works on the construction site when he's not held up with constipation. Mary sits all day at a desk, which does little to relieve gas and bloating. You can't schedule abdominal discomfort, but you can help alleviate it with Back-to-Pro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Back-to-Pro is the fiber probiotic supplement that comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. It includes the most essential ingredients necessary to help support your healthy digestive and immune function. Experience the results. Learn how you can receive a 30-day supply of Back-to-Pro. Just visit backtopro.com/offer. All you cover is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Do something about your digestive health now. Get your 30-day supply at backtopro.com/offer. That's BACTIPRO.com/offer. Limited time only. Backtopro.com/offer.
Hello and welcome to your Newsmax Now update. I'm John Bachman. The House of Representatives passed a two-year budget Thursday evening that many in Washington will hope end the budget crises that have plagued the Capitol for the past 3 years.
On this vote, the ayes are 332, the noes are 94.
It's considered a victory for House Speaker John Boehner, who battled Tea Party-aligned groups which urged Republicans to vote no. Boehner says those organizations have gone too far.
They pushed us into this fight to defund Obamacare and to shut down the government. One of these groups stood up and said, well, we never really thought it would work. Are you kidding me?
The bill now heads over to the Senate, where it is expected to pass. Democrats are upset the bill that does not include extended unemployment benefits for about 1 million Americans who are currently out of work. Democrats say they plan to bring that up when Congress reconvenes next year. Well, there's new information about an American who disappeared on a trip to Iran. The U.S. government has long claimed he was a private citizen on a business trip. But the Associated Press is now reporting that Robert Levinson, who vanished while he was in Iran in 2007, was part of the CIA at the time of his disappearance. CBS News senior correspondent John Miller is a former deputy director of national intelligence and personally knows Levinson and his family. He says the news could help bring Levinson home.
This has been something that the Iranians long suspected. And perhaps now that the AP has reported this and it's out there in the open, it may change the dynamics.
Meanwhile, national security spokesperson says the government asked the AP to withhold the story for Levinson's safety. Last month, the White House said Levinson was a private citizen, but the AP investigation reveals he was working on an unapproved CIA mission when he flew to Kish Island, an Iranian resort in the Persian Gulf. The retired FBI agent has not been seen in person since, and the last images of him came out 3 years ago. The U.S. government still will not confirm or deny that Levinson was working for the CIA at the time. Well, here's a rare look inside the old U.S. Embassy in Iran. It's been under control of the youth wing of Iran's Revolutionary Guard ever since hardliners swarmed the embassy in 1979 and took dozens of hostages more than 30 years ago. It now serves as a propaganda and anti-American museum, still popular with extreme hardliners of the Islamic Republic. And North Korea says it has executed Kim Jong-un's uncle. The government says Jang Song-thaek was trying to overthrow his nephew. Jang had been considered the country's second in command. He was arrested a few days ago, accused of corruption, womanizing, gambling, and taking drugs. Well, coming up next on your Newsmax Now update, while Speaker Boehner blasts conservative groups, a leader of one of those groups, Ralph Reed, joins us for an exclusive interview. Plus, it's going to be a white Christmas where Christmas first started. We'll take you to the Holy Land for a look at a rare snowstorm there.
Are you at least 62 years old like me? Could you use an extra $50,000, $100,000 or more to live a better life? Then please consider the benefits a reverse mortgage can provide to you. With a reverse mortgage, you can have your mortgage payments stopped altogether and get equity out of your home to live on. And you can use the money to help you live a better life. How nice would that be, not to have a mortgage payment? Qualifying for a reverse mortgage is simple, since there are no income, asset, employment, or credit requirements. However, you must be 62 years or older, own your home outright, or have a very low balance on the mortgage, and be prepared to live in it throughout the rest of the loan. Call now for more information.
800-831-1560, 800-831-1560, 800-831-1560. That's 800-831-1560.
Larry works on the construction site when he's not held up with constipation. Mary sits all day at a desk, which does little to relieve gas and bloating. You can't schedule abdominal discomfort, but you can help alleviate it with Back2Pro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Back2Pro is the fiber probiotic supplement that comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. It includes the most essential ingredients necessary to help support your healthy digestive and immune function. Experience the results. Learn how you can receive a 30-day supply of Back2Pro. Just visit Back2Pro.com/offer. All you cover is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Do something about your digestive health now. Get your 30-day supply at Back2Pro.com/offer. That's BACTIPRO.com/offer. Limited time only. Back2Pro.com/offer.
And welcome back. A rare heavy snowstorm blanketed the Jerusalem area and parts of the West Bank today. The weather all but closed the city, stranding hundreds of vehicles on impassable roads. At least 20 inches has fallen since Thursday. The snow didn't stop either, but it did not stop U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry. He still managed to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And during an exclusive interview, Ralph Reed, head of the conservative-based Faith and Freedom Coalition, says the Ryan Murray budget was the only possible outcome given the makeup of government, but he doesn't support it. Despite the passage of the bill last night in the GOP-controlled House, Reed says the bill could face a tough fight in the Senate.
I would probably vote no on this deal, and certainly I have a lot of good friends, from Marco Rubio to Rand Paul to Raul Labrador to even Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell, who are already on record saying that they will vote against it.
And that's going to do it for this edition of your Newsmax Now Update. I'm John Bachman. Now here's the Steve Malzberg Show.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios, this is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Steve Malzberg Show. And I got to tell you, I was so proud of watching MSNBC the other day and on the Melissa Harris Perry show. Truth be told, I wasn't watching the show. I found this story written up by our good friend Noel Shepard, of course, at newsbusters.org. I can't do that to myself. I don't know how Ron Christie sat there on the panel, but we welcome in Ron Christie, longtime political analyst, filled in for me on this show a couple of times, and CEO of Christie Strategies. Hey, Ron, how are you?
Steve, my friend, how are you? It's good to talk to you.
Yeah, good to talk to you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you. I got to tell you, you sat there, and I want to play something here. This is Cut 31. I believe this is the former executive director of the Congressional Black Caucus, Angela Rye, given the usual mantra, the usual talking points against the Tea Party. Here it is.
And I was just thinking, to me, in 2010, the Republican infighting took a particularly dangerous tone because it wasn't just about infighting anymore. It was about taking our country back with the resurrection of the Tea Party. And it was very, very racial, whether any of them will admit it or not.
Racial, absolutely. I will not sit here and allow you to say that. The Tea Party came in. There were 63 people who came in 2010 because the government grew too much because no. I will not allow people to sit here and say there's a racial aspect to it. That is absolutely
absolutely false. All right. And what she was talking about, Ron, I guess specifically, or what she would bring up after the commercial break was, this nonsense that when they passed the health care bill and Nancy Pelosi led all the Democrats with the gavel through the Capitol, up the steps or whatever, down the steps, that people spit on John Lewis and called him the N-word, right?
That's basically it. And I have to tell you, Steve, I was actually there that day, and that's what gets me the most about all of this. If you have to take what she said, there are 2 steps to it. The first part, she said that there was a racial overtone to it and it was a dangerous turn. Well, the dangerous turn was the fact that, yes, we did want to take our country back from an arrogant, elite, out-of-touch group of politicians who rammed through the health care bill. We haven't had a bill since the entitlement expansion since the Great Society of 1960s. And I'm talking about Medicare. I'm talking about the Voting Rights Act of 65, Civil Rights Act of 64. Those passed on a wide bipartisan basis. Obamacare rammed right through. And it was remarkable what we saw in 2010 with the American people who rose up, and we had 63 seats gained in the House, which got us a majority. We got 6 seats in the United States Senate. We had 680 Republicans elected to the state legislature. We had 29 out of the 50 states, the governorships were in Republican hands, and you had half of the state legislatures under Republican control, all after Obamacare passed. So, yes, we wanted to take the country back, and I hardly find that to be racial.
Yeah, neither do I. And here, I want to play for the folks Cut 33, Will, when she made her accusation and you confronted her, and this was priceless. Here's Cut 33.
I'm curious, were you there that day?
No, I was not there that day.
I was actually there that day. I was doing a stand-up for MSNBC. I was actually out talking with Tea Party people. I actually saw John Lewis walk out to go to the Capitol to vote. I did not hear the N-word being
sorry you
uttered.
didn't hear it.
Well,
It's
even
absolutely-
and John Lewis has never said on camera. Reporters have asked him, "Did people call you the N-word?" He has
And
not
most of
said
the
anything.
members have said that they will refuse to talk about that day because it was so insulting. They were going to preserve health care for
The
so
only
many
thing I can
people.
say to you is that I was there, I was standing there, I was listening, I didn't hear it.
I'm sorry.
And so again, it's a difference of opinion, but for you,
It's
for
not
not
an
having,
opinion.
for you not having been there, and me
I've
actually
talked
having
to the
been there,
members, Ron.
when I've talked to the members myself, I was physically there.
I mean, to say that the members have agreed, what they made a pact, they're not going to talk about it. They certainly have talked about it, and you know, but like you said, they haven't come right out and quoted anything or said I was spit on or here's when it happened. As a matter of fact, didn't somebody put out a reward? I mean, for a lot of money, some agency or some maybe it was Breitbart at the time, saying if you have video or audio of any of this spitting or cursing or calling the N-word, I'll give you $100,000, and nobody's ever seen any of it.
Well, it's amazing to me, Steve. Our late friend Andrew Breitbart actually put out a $100,000 reward and said, if you have any video or audio recording that says the N-word, then I'll pay you. And in the era of the cell phone, in the era of the camera phone, in the era of, my goodness, I mean, I'm telling you, I was there that day. There were a lot of media cameras and radio crews around, and miraculously, no one heard the N-word. Now, the spitting incident, that is actually true. That was Congressman Emanuel Cleaver from Missouri. He was walking up the steps of the Capitol, and someone spit on him, and the Capitol Police, according to Politico, arrested him. But Cleaver said, oh, I'm not going to press charges. And, oh, by the way, there was no mention of any racial overtone to that. So for having been there and had to sit and listen to this woman try to lecture me about the N-word being thrown around, about how rude the Tea Party people were. Steve, these, as you know, these are some of the nicest people that came from all over the country. They were chanting, kill the bill, kill the bill.
Right.
And they were shaking hands, and they couldn't have been any nicer. I really enjoyed myself having the chance to talk to dozens of people that day.
And Ron, you know, if someone had done this, as the accusation is, if one person did, and this is what always gets me, how would we, and I'm not conceding that it happened, but how do you even know who the person was? In other words, it could have been an Tea Party infiltrator kind of planted there, Democratic plant, whatever, designed to make the Tea Party look, bad. Or, I mean, that's common practice in rallies and whatnot. And in fact, all the rallies the Tea Party's been involved in, I've never seen an arrest. I recall one arrest when a black Tea Party member in St. Louis was beaten to a pulp by Union thugs. That was an arrest. But otherwise, I've never seen where a Tea Party rally, and there was some kind of other thing where people got really hurt. A Fox News reporter, if you recall, when a tent came down on him, he got beaten up. But I've never seen Tea Partiers get arrested at a Tea Party rally ever.
Well, your distinction is a really important one, because the gentleman we're talking about in St. Louis, not only was he beaten by a couple of white folks and a black gentleman, but the local NAACP chair in Missouri said he deserved it. He deserved what happened to him, versus, as you pointed out, I have never heard of anybody being arrested at a Tea Party rally, but the rally in particular with this individual, Angela Nye, who was on the Melissa Harris Perry show, who she wasn't there. I was on the Capitol complex, and I have to tell you, I saw Don't Tread on Me flags waving. I saw American flags waving. I heard people chanting, kill the bill. People were in a great mood. And to take what I thought was participatory citizens at their best of saying, I'm coming to Washington, I want to make sure my representatives hear me, and to have these people try to turn it into some racial incident, I'm sorry, Steve, not only do I not believe that the N-word was thrown out, I think that these people are trying to delegitimize the Tea Party.
Why? Ron, we only got a minute and a half, so I don't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to get this question in. Why do you think, why do you think that even came up? Why are they still putting forth this accusation? And the accusation of Tea Partiers being racist is something that especially MSNBC promotes all the time.
Well, you and I both know that charges of racism are used to stop debate rather than to continue debate. And I don't think these people want to debate the issues and the merits, because the Democrats are going to go down to a drubbing in the next election cycle, because once again, the Tea Party represents active Americans who say we're taxed and spending too much in our government, and our government's not responsive to us. And what better way to try to shut them down than to call them racist?
How do you think Perry handled it? From what I saw, I was pleasantly surprised that she didn't step all over your answers. She let you go.
Melissa was very upset, actually. I mean, and you can watch her reaction. She said, this is important enough that we have to come back after the break.
Yeah.
And during the commercial break, she said, Ron, I have never seen you get that upset, so I really want you to have your say. She was very fair. But, I mean, again, you know me, Steve. I don't get mad on air. And to hear these scurrilous charges of racism, I am not going to take that to try to demean our party and the conservative movement.
Good for you. Very proud of you. We're proud to know you, Ron. Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you, my friend. Merry Christmas.
You too. Merry Christmas. Ron Christie, political analyst, CEO of Christie Strategies, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Very, very great, I don't want to say performance, but, back and forth with Angela Rye. And, there are times you got to get angry, and you got to yell, and you got to scream. I mean, it just comes out that way. You can't always control your passion and your anger when you hear somebody sitting there lying. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Imagine if you had a secret code for making money, a code buried deep within biblical texts.
A code that certain investment titans have quietly exploited to amass billions.
And what if this code could be used by you today to unlock vast amounts of wealth safely and ethically?
Investment expert and former pastor Sean Hyman says there is such a code. He calls it the Biblical Money Code. Sean credits this code for helping him turn his father's $40,000 retirement account into $396,000.
And today you have a chance to tap into this life-changing biblical money code by visiting moneycode411.com.
That's moneycode411.com.
At moneycode411.com, you will find out how you can use this biblical money code in your own life to get out of debt and invest for profits.
That's moneycode411.com.
If your prostate is giving you problems and your doc says it's just part of getting older, be wary. Renowned physician and author Dr. David Brownstein thinks this is baloney. He's discovered a link between aging and prostate health and believes prostate concerns do not have to be an inevitable part of aging. That's why he created Prostate Revive.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Brownstein. I personally formulated Prostate Revive to include the most essential natural ingredients available to help promote a healthy prostate gland and optimal urinary function.
The producers of Dr. Brownstein's Prostate Revive are so thrilled with the positive feedback from satisfied customers that for a limited time, they are willing to send you your first month's supply free. Plus, call now and you'll also receive Dr. Brownstein's special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate. For details on getting your free bottle, call 1-800-596-REVIVE. That's 1-800-596-REVIVE. Take control with Prostate Revive. Call now while supplies last to claim your risk-free bottle at 1-800-596-REVIVE.
Do you owe the IRS? Do you have unfiled tax returns? Have you received a wage garnishment or bank levy? Maybe a lien has been filed against you. OMG Tax can help you with all your IRS tax problems. Don't wait another second. Take action now. Call my team at OMG Tax. Honest and professional, we don't make false promises. If you owe back taxes, or if the IRS is garnishing your paycheck, you need help now. OMG Tax can help you get your life back to normal. If you're serious about handling your tax matter, call OMG Tax now and get the peace of mind you deserve. Don't let the IRS take your next paycheck. Stop waiting and call our team at OMG Tax. OMG Tax has a straightforward, no-nonsense approach and has helped many Americans resolve their IRS nightmare. Call OMG Tax now.
Call 1-800-255-6485. That's 1-800-255-6485. 800-255-6485.
Do you have trouble remembering things you've known for years? Do you want to maintain your mental edge, support your memory, focus, and attention? After extensive research, Dr. Russell Blaylock discovered 4 essential nutrients that help sustain optimal brain function. Dr. Russell Blaylock then personally formulated Crescio, the dietary supplement containing these 4 brain boosters that promote brain cognitive health, improve learning and retention. Crescio supports brain circulation and provides antioxidant protection. And now you can receive a 30-day supply of Crescio. All you pay is a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Crescio.com/special. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, Nature's Brain Boosters, Essential Nutrients for Peak Mental Performance. Give your brain the healthy support it needs. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Crescio.com/special. That's Cresceo.com/special. Crescio.com/special.
Breaking news and breaking hearts. Aww. This is the Steve Malzberg Show.
In Slate, they have a piece on .com. Santa Claus should not be a white man anymore. And when I saw this headline, I kind of laughed, and I said, oh, this is so ridiculous. Yet another person claiming it's racist to have a white Santa, you know? And by the way, for all you kids watching at home, Santa just is white, but this person is just arguing that maybe we should also have a black Santa. But, you know, Santa is what he is, and just so you know, we're just debating this because someone wrote about it, kids. Okay, I wanted to get that straight.
All right, that's Megyn Kelly on the Fox News Channel last, I don't know, Wednesday, possibly, igniting a firestorm and hearing it from the crowd, as Marv Albert would say, after she said Santa Claus is a white man. She also said that Jesus is white. We're going to focus on Santa Claus right now, and joining us right now to do that is Jamel Bowie, staff writer for the Daily Beast. Hello, Jamel. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Okay, let me ask you, your problem, do you have a problem with what Megyn Kelly said about Santa Claus being white?
Not so much. I mean, if I have a problem, it was with the attitude of the comment, just the idea that it was somehow ridiculous that someone might conceive Santa Claus as a non-white man. I mean, first and foremost, Santa Claus is not real. And second, Santa Claus is an amalgamation of many different myths and people. And so when you have a character like that, it's sort of flexible how you want to present him.
Well, I mean, Santa Claus is based on, I mean, St. Nicholas. I mean, and St. Nicholas, born during the 3rd century in the village of Patara, which at the time was Greek. And you know, and has been portrayed, as you say, a fictional character, though, portrayed as white, and in every way you've seen him, on every ad, in every shopping mall, in every float, I won't say every, but 99.99% of them. And this article written by the so-called culture blogger at Slate, Aisha Harris, should know that Santa Claus is in part based on, you know, they call him Jolly St. Nick. And for her to say that she would like to see Santa Claus replaced with a penguin, so that minority kids or non-white kids won't have to go through the, quote, insecurity and shame that she went through as a child because Santa Claus was white and she wasn't. Why on earth would that cause insecurity and shame? I mean, if I see Michael Jordan, or my young son sees Michael Jordan and roots for Michael Jordan, or roots for whomever these days, and Michael Jordan's black and my son's white, is he ashamed because the basketball player that's the best in the world is black? I mean, I don't get that.
Well, so I think it's important to understand the extent to which, even if we're just talking about fictional characters or fictional things, that children of color, whether they be black or Latino or Asian, have very, very few representations of themselves or anything positive. That, like, in the broad range of fictional characters for children, very few are people of color. And so, you know, I can completely understand, especially if you're growing up in an environment that doesn't have very many white people, trying to identify with a fictional character, and there just not being a fictional character to identify with.
All right, so
that
she could have said,
strike me as odd.
Okay, but Jamal, she could have said, you know, I never really thought much about Santa Claus. I mean, first of all, her parents brought a black Santa Claus into the house. If I remember what she said, when I was a kid, I knew 2 different Santa Claus. The first had a fat belly, rosy cheeks, long white beard, skin as pink as bubblegum. He visited my preschool, the local mall. Then there was a Santa in my family's household in the form of ornaments, cards, and holiday figurines. All right, so an ear carbon copy, but his skin was dark. So why would this girl, again, if she was given Santa Claus as a black man, I mean, why why shame and insecurity unless it's her upbringing? In other words, why wouldn't her parents as a little girl tell her, you know, Santa Claus could be black or white, or we believe Santa Claus is black? But so why on earth, again, where she grew up in a home with a black Santa Claus, if she sees a white one outside the home, does she feel shame and insecure unless there's something wrong with her upbringing?
Well, I can't speak for Aisha's upbringing or sort of feelings. My guess, however, is it's just maybe it's just a feeling of out of placeness. Even if you have a black Santa and positive parents and positive representations, it feels a little weird when the thing you celebrate is vastly different than the thing that everyone else around you celebrates. And I think that's a totally fair feeling to have.
Well, I mean, again, I know it's a bad analogy because I can't think of a fiction, and I don't mean this in any negative way, but correct me if I'm wrong, I can't think of, and you alluded to it earlier, the paucity of it. I can't think of a black fictional character with that kind of significance, you know, to children and universally accepted like Santa Claus. So therefore, I go to, you know, like I go to, you know, the athlete that everybody's talking about, or the best player in the league, or whatever, which, you know, for a young boy growing up, I mean, is apt to be black. And my son has the jerseys of one of the New Jersey Nets, and the New Jersey Net in question is black. I mean, now he, far from being shamed and insecure, he relishes it. He roots for the guy. So that's why I'm thinking, and we don't have to be specific to Alicia, but anybody who objects to a white Santa Claus because they fear that kids who are not white will grow up with shame and insecurity, I just don't get that.
Well, I mean, I think you're generalizing a bit from Aisha's perspective to everyone. I mean, two things are true. First, I'm not sure that everyone who is talking about this somehow objects to a white Santa Claus. I actually don't think anyone objects to a white Santa Claus. I think if people are objecting to anything, it was the tone and sort of incredulity that Megyn Kelly showed when she dismissed the idea of a non-white Santa Claus. That's what got people a little annoyed, a little angry.
But why do you say that Megyn Kelly has built her career on white racial panic?
that was a nice transition.
Well, we only got about a minute, so you're probably
right. So
safe.
I say that because Megyn Kelly spent the better part of 2 years hammering on a story about the new Black Panthers, who are apparently some nationwide group, threatening white voters and intimidating them at the polls. And this basically was shown by a variety of sources to be just bogus.
Bogus.
And it seemed like there
were no people, but with the billy clubs at the polls.
There is a group called the New Black Panthers. It has a handful of members, and I mean a literal handful.
Okay, Jamal, I'd love to continue this maybe next week. I hope you'll come back. I really enjoy your talk, our chat. Thank you very much, Jamal Bowie, staff writer for the Daily Beast. Rick Santorum next.
Drug, alcohol, and gambling addiction can be devastating for you and your loved ones. Don't let the disease of addiction ruin everything you've worked so hard for. The Treatment Helpline has helped thousands of people just like you take control of their addictions and live healthier, cleaner, and happier lives. You are not alone. Now there's hope. The Treatment Helpline has helped people just like you overcome their addiction. If you or a loved one is suffering from a drug, alcohol, or gambling addiction, let us help you today. Call 1-800-813-9821. Our seasoned addiction treatment professionals can show you how to use your private health insurance to help cover the costs of this life-changing program. Call now and get a free confidential consultation. 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821. Help is only a phone call away. Call 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821.
Judging from everything you hear, you think all cholesterol is bad, but that's not really true. You need a certain amount of cholesterol to maintain good health. The problem is that too much cholesterol in your blood contributes to a plaque, a fatty substance that narrows the coronary arteries that feed blood flow to your heart. Picture your coronary arteries as a 4-lane highway. If one lane becomes blocked, traffic still flows well. 2 lanes, no major problem. But if a third lane becomes blocked, that spells trouble. It's the same way with your coronary arteries. And when plaque slows their blood flow to your heart, this can even cause a heart attack. The good news is that when it comes to cholesterol, lifestyle changes can pay off big time. Even a small reduction in plaque can be like opening up another highway lane. Suddenly, blood flow that was stalled can go forward again. Changing your lifestyle does not have to be hard. And in fact, here are 3 ways to help you start lowering your cholesterol. Snack on nuts. Nuts are probably one of the easiest and tastiest ways to lower cholesterol. Walnuts and almonds are among the best. Bulk up your diet with fiber. Choose whole fruits instead of a fruit juice, brown rice instead of white, and if you're eating a baked potato, be sure to leave the skin on. Choose fish. Fish contains cholesterol-fighting omega-3 fatty acids. I'm Dr. Chauncey Crandall, and thanks for watching this Heart Health Minute. Remember, it's never too late to prevent or reverse heart disease. Right now, I invite you to discover your own risk for heart disease or even a heart attack by taking my quick, free online quiz at www.simplehearttest.com.
Are payday loans ruining your life? If you have 2 or more payday loan cash advances, listen closely. You may be eligible for a program that payday loan companies don't want you to know about.
This program will get payday loan companies out of your bank account and put an end to the payday loan nightmare. Call for free information and find out if Payday Loan Support Center is right for you. Payday loan companies usually trap you into paying rates as high as 700%. We understand payday lenders' tactics. Don't let them take advantage of you anymore. All you need is 2 or more payday loans to qualify. We can help even if you're behind in collections or have bad credit.
Internet payday loans qualify for this program as well. So call 800-250-5084. That's 800-250-5084. The call is free and the consultation is free. Don't miss out. Call for your free information on payday loan relief. 800-250-5084. That's 800-250-5084. Again, 800-250-5084.
To Obamacare311.com. That's Obamacare311.com.
This is not your typical Screamfest talk show.
No.
This is the next generation of talk radio. Here is Steve Malzberg.
Yes, indeed. That's me. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. And joining us right now, ladies and gentlemen, is former senator from the great state of Pennsylvania, Rick Santorum, former presidential candidate. And, of course, he is the CEO of Echolight Studios. And he's got this great new movie out, his studio does, called The Christmas Candle, which is a wonderful story. Hello, Senator.
How are you, Steve?
Good. You're on the train?
Yeah, I'm on the Amtrak train, so I won't be try to keep my my enthusiasm contained.
Yes,
right up to Philly.
Okay, well, good luck, and I hope you have a great trip. But I'm glad you're doing this. Thank you very much. First of all, how's the movie? How's the movie going?
We're very pleased. I mean, it's 5th week, and so we feel very excited that it's been in theaters for that long, and we're hoping that it will stay through the Christmas season. So we're working hard, and it's a beautiful film, and we hope people will go out and enjoy it and enjoy a nice little Christmas movie at Christmas time. The Christmas Candle. The Christmas Candle.
Yeah, it's about a village where miracles occur, and it's you said it was a cross between Wonderful Life and what was the other one?
And A Christmas Carol, because
yes.
it's set in Victorian England, and it's a beautifully done film that people just love the soundtrack, and the acting's really terrific. And it's, like I said, it's just a wonderful little uplifting, inspirational Christmas story. And we hope that as people head down that stretch between now and Christmas, just a few days away, that they go lighten their load a little bit and go to the theater.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's a very great night or afternoon out for the folks, family, because it is a great family movie. All right. Let's talk a little bit about some of the news. First of all, a federal judge today saying that the NSA bulk collection of phone records violates the Fourth Amendment, the Constitution's ban on unreasonable search and seizures. He put his decision on hold pending an almost certain appeal from the government. This is 4 people who sued. Wasn't class action by any means, but I don't know legally how far-reaching the implications are. But it seems that it's pretty significant. So, what's your take on the NSA and this judge's opinion?
Well, I think we have to be real serious. I mean, I have some concerns with the NSA program, but we have to do surveillance. I mean, we have to be able to gather information about folks who want to do us harm, but we have to do it in a way that protects privacy, and that's really the key here. And all I'd say is that we need to continue to work on technology so we can get the information we need without violating the privacy of people in the process of getting it. And I think that's really, to me, it's a technology issue more than it is a constitutional issue. I think if we have technology that right now they can't keep privacy, then we got a problem. But I think let's put it this way: I'm confident that in the years to come, we're going to have the combination of good technology with keeping anonymity for people who shouldn't have their records available to the government.
All right, let me ask you kind of a related question. I heard one network, I think it was CNN, say that this is a big victory for Edward Snowden. I don't know exactly how that's the case, but let me ask you this: there are those NSA officials who are considering amnesty for Snowden in return for the documents that he took. Now, they say he took over 1.5 million documents. Now, maybe it's me, although we had Congresswoman Eliana Ross-Layton on before, and she said talk of that kind makes her want to pull her hair out of her head. How on earth do you trust a guy who did what he did, who has been away from the country for so long, to say, okay, I'll give you all the documents back, and I don't have any hanging around, no files, no copies, but just let me go, let me off, give me amnesty.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's silly, is what that is, and I agree with Ileana on that. You can't. This is someone who obviously you cannot trust, and a deal that would simply just encourage him to do more things that will cause problems for the United States. So no, I don't think you take someone who, in many respects, you could argue is a terrorist, and negotiate with that terrorist. I think you prosecute it.
Yeah, all right. We're talking to Rick Santorum here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Let me ask you, there was a poll done in Iowa, and you came in 3rd place in that poll behind Paul Ryan, Mike Huckabee, and then yourself. Now, most of the polling, they say, was done while people knew that Ryan was behind this budget deal, although, I'd like to see a poll done today and see how much popularity he still has there. So let me ask you, what do you think of the poll? And then we'll talk a little bit about this budget deal.
I mean, one of the things I think Steve, I mean, if you took a poll 8 months ago, there would have been a senator from Florida at the top of the poll. You took one 3 months ago, there would have been a senator from Texas at the top of the poll. You take one this month, it's Paul Ryan. You take one next, 2 months ago, it'll be somebody else. I really can't worry about polls at this point in time. I mean, what we got to do is we've got serious problems. You mentioned this budget. We have serious problems we have to deal with. To me, the most important one is focusing the country on Obamacare and the horrific problems that we're having. There's reports out, as you saw in New York, even the New York Times, talking about how these networks are incredibly thin as far as doctors and hospitals. And some of the best hospitals, some of the best doctors are now not going to be in these exchange products. So you're going to pay more. You're going to pay more in premiums. You're going to pay more in deductibles, and you're going to get not the quality of the doctors and hospitals or the choices of doctors and hospitals that you want. This is what needs to be the central focus of our discussion, not Iowa polls that mean really nothing.
Okay, well, you can't blame me for trying. Let's go on to the budget here. Is this something, they say that they have the 5 votes or whatever that they'll need in the Senate to pass it. They certainly have the votes to bring it to the floor for a vote at the 60-vote threshold, although I don't know why Harry Reid even bothers with that anymore. So what I mean, if you were in the Senate, would you vote for this budget?
To be honest with you, I really can't say that I would or I wouldn't. I mean, I haven't really looked at all the details. What I've seen is a lot of things that are a big concern. What I understand is a strategy to put this issue behind us and focus on the things that are sort of the bigger fish at this point, which is doing something to slow down, repeal, destroy, and put in a replacement in place for Obamacare. So I understand the rationale for that. I think that rationale is a pretty persuasive one. I can't really say right now whether I'd have voted for this thing or not, but what I can say is that the rationale of getting a deal right now is a good one, so we can focus on the issue of Obamacare.
All right. Now, what John Boehner did, Senator, to me, I did a double take. Now, what'd you say it was?
Not helpful.
No. Now, the first day, you could chalk it up to frustration, whatever, but the calculated to talk on the second day, when he basically, I hate to use the word admitted because it implies that it's true, but when he blamed the Tea Party for forcing him to shut down the government when he never shut down the government, and then Paul Ryan standing behind him with his smirk, and the attack on conservatives. To me, it's setting the stage for more capitulation down the road with immigration and other issues. No?
Yeah. Here's the problem with that. I speak from first-hand experience. I mean, when I served in Washington for 4 years in the House and 12 years in the Senate, and after a while, you can't help but become insulated. You can't help but become part of the whole operation mechanism of trying to make things work, and you sort of forget sometimes the bigger picture of how you got there and what you're supposed to do when you're there and who put you there. And I think that really was a case in point here, that it really does show a little bit of a beltway mentality that the leader of the Republican Party would, number one, take the blame for a government shutdown, which was not his, and number two, point the finger at the base of the Republican Party as the problem. That's not a good idea. It was not helpful, and hopefully he'll think better of it going forward.
All right, talking about Obamacare, as you were, there's another decision here in New York, a federal judge ruling that Catholic healthcare system, Catholic Health Services of Long Island, Cardinal Spellman High School, Monsignor Farrell High School, they don't have to comply with the mandate under the Affordable Care Act, requiring that they provide their employees with contraception coverage. So there's been so many of these, and the Supreme Court has agreed to hear one of those cases. I mean, could this be, if they decide that this isn't constitutional, will that be a death knell for Obamacare, or will they somehow work around that?
Well, it's just like the Supreme Court decision on Obamacare in the first place. They worked around it. I mean, I don't think there's any question. Well, I should say that I don't believe that the Supreme Court is going to uphold these Obamacare regulations. I think the district court that you just referred to, or appellate court, is right. That the First Amendment actually has teeth, has meaning. People have rights. They don't come from the government. The government can't tramp on your right of conscience unless there's a big compelling reason. And this is not a compelling reason. And so that's where the courts are coming down. I think it's the right thing to do. Unfortunately, it will not unravel Obamacare. What will unravel Obamacare is a combination of factors. This is one. But the biggest one is the cost, the cumbersomeness, and the fact that people aren't going to get very high quality care or good choices in their care.
Yeah, no, and you said a word earlier that I was saying weeks ago, and I predicted that people who have never heard the word deductible before are going to get a rude awakening, especially any young people who, oh, hey, I got a policy for the less than the cost of my cell bill, like Obama likes to say, and then they get to find they have a $5,000 deductible. Yeah. They're not going to. They'll go to the doctor. They'll think they're covered, and they will be if they could get through, and then they'll get billed for the entire amount. They'll say what the blank.
Yeah, no, people always talk about premiums, and that's really the insurance company's done a very good job, and I don't blame them. They've done a very good job of keeping premium rates down, but what they haven't been able to keep down are deductibles, and the reason is because the way the law is written makes it very, very hard for insurance companies, and the way the administration's enforcing it to do anything other than raise deductibles. And so you're going to see people who are going to be just astounded. And here's the amazing thing. For years and years and years, President Obama and the left has fought against high deductible policies, saying, "Oh, they hurt the little guy, and we can't have these high deductible policies. We need to cover people, and remember they had to fill the donut hole in the Medicare prescription drug, but we can't have people paying out of pocket." And Obamacare is the biggest expansion of deductibles in the history of the United States, and these are the very people who fought against them for years. It's a joke.
Yeah. Do you still have your policy, sir?
Well, I fortunately have a policy through Ecolite Studios,
There you go.
and that policy, at least for now, qualifies under Obamacare, and therefore we can keep the policy.
Well, good for you. Hey, listen, to your wonderful family and your marvelous little girl, who I assume is doing well, Merry
She's doing
Christmas.
great, thank you.
Good. Merry
Well,
Christmas.
thank you.
Happy New Year. And we look forward to speaking with you next year, sir.
Bless you, Steve, and everybody else, and look forward to a great 2014, a good, strong conservative one.
There you go. Thank you, Senator. Senator Rick Santorum, ladies and gentlemen, and check out the movie The Christmas Candle, the venture of Ecolite Studios, which is now run by CEO of Ecolite, Rick Santorum. Just a great guy. Just a great guy. I'm so proud to have a good relationship with him, and he's been so helpful and done so much for me over the recent years, coming on shows and talking to me from a train and all that kind of stuff. All right, when we come back, Brent Bozell joins us. We had Brent's son on, David, last week, but Brent's going to be on to talk about his latest piece, the latest effort to slime people of faith. War on Christmas, war on Christians, war on faith. It's all out there. Don't let them tell you it is not. And it's rampant and it's evident, and we're going to talk about it with the great Brent Bozell on the Steve Malzberg Show right here on Newsmax TV and radio. Don't go away.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Do you suffer from joint discomfort? Contrary to what the experts may say, achy joints do not have to be a normal part of aging. Holistic doctor David Brownstein challenged conventional thinking to focus on natural solutions for joint health. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Limbex, the premium nutritional supplement specifically formulated to support healthy joints and connective tissue. It's a new joint breakthrough formula containing 11 hand-picked nutrients. Learn more at limbexjoint.com/special and take the 30-day Healthy Joint Challenge. That's a 30-day supply of the Limbex Joint Supplement. All you pay is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Happy, Healthy Joints at Any Age. You can do something about joint discomfort and flexibility. Learn how you can try it for 30 days at limbexjoint.com/special. That's LIMBEX joint.com/special. limbexjoint.com/special.
According to the FBI Uniform Crime Report, there are over 5,000 robberies every day. Your home could be at risk of being burglarized. Don't put your loved ones and valuables in jeopardy. For just over $1 per day, your home can be protected from break-ins, fire, and more. Get the latest home security technology from Protect Your Home, your ADT authorized dealer. Over 6 million households sleep better at night with ADT monitored home security. What's more, Protect Your Home is offering you their latest equipment, an $850 value, absolutely free for qualified customers. Protect your loved ones and home today. Call now for licenses and to find out more. The call is free, 1-800-949-8201. That's 1-800-949-8201. Again, 1-800-949-8201. $99 installation charge, 36-month monitoring agreement at $36.99 per month. Payment by credit card or electronic bank account charge. For new homeowner customers with satisfactory credit history only. Local permit fees may be required. Certain restrictions apply. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
Meet John and Nancy. Like many people, John and Nancy have spent their whole lives working hard, saving their money and investing wisely, knowing that it would pay off in the end. But the reality is, today's world is not the same as it was. John and Nancy's stocks have taken them on a serious roller coaster ride, and it's all but destroyed their retirement funds. Their house is not even close to being worth what they paid, and to boot, their middle-class paychecks no longer cover their costs. All that hard work and smart investing has gotten them nowhere. In fact, they are no longer thinking about when they will retire, they're wondering if they'll retire. Then one day, John and Nancy heard about a man named Tom Hutchison, a veteran of Wall Street for over 2 decades. Tom noticed that the wealthy invested differently than normal people. and their methods seemed to be a secret they didn't want to share. So Tom left his job, compiled the strategies, and published them in the controversial book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns. John and Nancy immediately picked up a copy, began investing, and never looked back. Thanks to Powerful Secrets, John and Nancy now have investments that pay up to 20% a year. They learned about unique tax-advantaged investments, and their favorite chapter revealed a strategy that anyone can use to turn $50,000 into $1 million. Now, John and Nancy have control of their financial future in this new reality, and they have peace of mind about their investments that they never had before. Best of all, they are back on track to a secure retirement. To get your free copy of the book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns, simply visit www.myfinancialage.org.
If your prostate is giving you problems and your doc says it's just part of getting older, be wary. Renowned physician and author Dr. David Brownstein thinks this is baloney. He's discovered a link between aging and prostate health and believes prostate concerns do not have to be an inevitable part of aging. That's why he created Prostate Revive.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Brownstein. I personally formulated Prostate Revive to include the most essential natural ingredients available to help promote a healthy prostate gland and optimal urinary function.
The producers of Dr. Brownstein's Prostate Revive are so thrilled with the positive feedback from satisfied customers that for a limited time, they are willing to send you your first month's supply free. Plus, call now and you'll also receive Dr. Brownstein's special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate. For details on getting your free bottle, call 1-800-596-REVIVE. That's 1-800-596-REVIVE. Take control with Prostate Revive. Call now while supplies last to claim your risk-free bottle at 1-800-596-REVIVE.
The Steve Malzberg Show is just a bit different from the other radio shows. We have TV cameras. Watch the show at Newsmax.com or listen on your favorite radio station. Here's Steve Malzberg.
Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that I have been very outspoken about, one thing, huh? No, seriously, though, over the many, many years and has been the war on Christianity, the war specifically on Catholics. And as a Jew, I find it abhorrent, and I think it's important for people of the faiths under attack to come out and speak. But I think it's incumbent upon all faiths to speak out when something like this happens. And it goes on in so many ways in the media. And now we have another movie. And our good friend Brent Bozell, the founder and president of the Media Research Center, joins us. And he's written a great column on another Catholic-bashing movie. Hello, Brent.
How you doing, Steve? How are you?
Good, good. It was a pleasure to speak to your son last week.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah,
Did you enjoy it?
A chip off the old block in a positive way. Yes, absolutely. I enjoyed it very much. Okay, so let's talk about this movie, which is another Harvey Weinstein film, Philomena.
Yeah. Before saying anything, to me, it's a rather touching tribute that, and I say this as a Catholic, that almost any time there is a anti-Catholic, an assault on Catholics, and evidence of anti-Catholic bigotry, it always seems that at the front line defending Catholics are Jews. If it isn't you, it's Michael Medved. If it's not Michael Medved, it's Don Feder. It's an extraordinary thing that so many people try to sow contention between the two camps, but it is always Jews coming to the defense of Catholics. And
that's nice of you to say. I wish more Catholics would come to the defense of Catholics. And I've told that to Bill Donahue too, and he does too, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, we talked about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the movie Philomena. Harvey Weinstein is one of these Hollywood types who has a visceral hatred of Catholics and looks for every opportunity to do with Catholics what would never in a million years be ever suggested be done with Muslims. Whether it's a movie like Dogma or The Magdalene Sisters or Priest, the theme is one of hateful anti-Catholicism, as if there's some kind of market out there that's demanding it. And that's the one thing that really troubles me. There is no market demanding it. But this movie, Philomena, is his most recent. And what's interesting is that a movie critic was savaged for having the temerity to suggest this was an anti-Catholic movie, and has been absolutely savaged by Hollywood and by Harvey Weinstein for suggesting this, when in fact it is.
That was Kyle Smith of the New York Post, correct?
Yeah. Who said unequivocally that this would, he said, I could see no reason for the movie's existence other than to soar overhead in the guise of the sweet bird of comedy, then drop a surprise load of guano on Catholic institutions. Isn't that something?
That is amazing, yeah. That is amazing.
But he proves it because it's one of these movies where it is, quote unquote, based on true events.
Right, and they don't tell you what part is or isn't, yeah.
Exactly. It could be 5%, he had 10 toes, and therefore it's based on true events.
Right.
But you don't know what it is. And this is a classic story. It is about a nun, or about a woman, young lady in Ireland in the 1950s who became pregnant, was taken in by nuns at a convent. And what proceeded to happen to her, according to the movie, was that she was basically put to work in slave labor, working in the laundry. She had her child, and then, as Catholic nuns do, they took the child from her at age 3 and gave it to an American family for adoption. Her daughter, later in life, teamed up with a left-wing journalist to find that son in America, and found that he was a gay speechwriter for Ronald Reagan, who died later of AIDS. So as we point out in the column, this was the quintessential twofer, a movie that not only trashes the Catholic Church but trashes the hypocrisy of the Republicans, especially under Ronald Reagan. But if you go back and you just think about it for a second, a whole different story appears. Number one, this is a young woman who becomes pregnant. Who takes her in? Catholic nuns. Number two, how do Catholic nuns pay for this? They have to work. All of them have to work for alms to keep the doors open. Therefore, she works like everyone else works. Number three, the child is taken from her at age 3. Catholic nuns don't go around taking children at age 3. Obviously, something happened. Obviously, she was too young and had to give the child up.
Right.
Or obviously, she did something wrong. But the child just isn't taken from her. The child is adopted by loving parents. Number four, this son who was a gay speechwriter for Ronald Reagan, big deal that he was. In fact, he died in 1995. Do you know where he's buried?
Where?
At the monastery with the nuns.
There you go. I'll tell you. Listen,
story.
Brent, we're up against the clock, unfortunately. This is a great column that you wrote. Everyone should check it out. It's right now. It's posted at newsbusters.org. Listen, I just wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I look forward. I thank you for all you've done for the public and for our show in particular, and we'll speak to you soon, sir.
Thank you. Likewise, Happy Hanukkah.
You too. Thank you. That's Brent Bozell. We're coming back, folks. Steve Malzberg on the Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV. Well, you knew that already, Steve Malzberg Show. Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Hi, this is Mike Reagan. You need to watch out because thousands of new Obamacare rules are currently being implemented, and few know what the law says or does. Listen to what Senator Max Baucus, one of the authors of the Obamacare law, recently said.
I tell you, I just see a huge train wreck coming down, and I don't see any results yet. I just see a huge train wreck.
He's right. So protect yourself from this train wreck. Get the #1 bestseller, the Obamacare Survival Guide. Newsmax says it's the best guide to the new law. Join more than 500,000 Americans who have their copy. Get the Obamacare Survival Guide at bookstores everywhere or get our special $4.95 offer and save $15 off the cover price by going now to Obamacare911.com. That's Obamacare911.com. That's Obamacare911.com.
If you are successful at what you do, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a business owner, or you have a great career, you understand the concept of protecting yourself. Well, are you protecting yourself, your family, and your assets with quality term life insurance? Consider these possible rates. A man age 45 non-tobacco user could obtain $1 million of coverage for as little as $75 a month, and this rate is fixed for the next 10 years. We specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. A man age 50 non-tobacco user may be able to obtain $500,000 of coverage for as little as $115 a month. And this rate is fixed for the next 20 years. We have great rates for smokers too. Call the Term Lifeline now. 800-430-1309, 800-430-1309, 800-430-1309.
Hello and welcome to your Newsmax Now update. I'm John Bachman. The NSA opens its doors for a rare look inside the government agency where leaker Edward Snowden once worked. The NSA has been under intense pressure since Snowden went public with that top-secret data that revealed some of the agency's tactics. And NSA Director General Keith Alexander tried to clear up some of the information that has been put out there about your phone and internet usage.
The fact is, we're not collecting everybody's email. We're not collecting everybody's phone things. We're not listening to that. Our job is foreign intelligence, and we're very good at that.
But General Alexander did confirm that the NSA is collecting the so-called metadata tied to the phones of 3 million Americans. And that is the information that includes what numbers are dialed, what time calls are made, and what frequency those calls are being placed. The NSA says that has allowed them to develop targets for more advanced electronic surveillance in places like Somalia. And reports of a bomb at Harvard University halted exams for a brief time today. According to school officials, 4 buildings on its Cambridge campus were evacuated this morning, but the school later tweeted that there were no explosions or injuries on its campus. One student says she was about to take a final when the fire alarm sounded, and while some might brush off the bomb scare during finals tactic, not in Boston.
Here it's a lot more serious, and especially because the Boston bombings happened so recently, I think they're taking extra precautions.
3 of the buildings being evacuated border Harvard Yard in Cambridge. Harvard officials say that both school and city police are investigating the incident, and the university will provide more information as it becomes available. And Colorado's governor is asking for prayers for a 17-year-old girl who was shot in the head at her school last Friday. Claire Davis is in critical condition at a Denver hospital. Police say the shooter, 18-year-old senior Carl Pearson, had gone to the Arapahoe High School to settle a grudge with a teacher. Pearson killed himself as a school security officer closed in on him. Governor Hickenlooper credits the Sheriff's Department with active shooter protocol and saving lives. And today the Senate begins addressing a 2-year bipartisan budget deal crafted by Representative Paul Ryan and Senator Patty Murray. The agreement faces some opposition from Republicans in the Senate, but architect Paul Ryan is telling his GOP counterparts that the compromise is of good core conservative values. Ryan says conservative members of the Senate should focus on the fact that the budget includes no tax increases, deficit reduction, and permanent spending cuts. The Senate will have to reach a 60-vote threshold to move forward with the plan. And coming up next on your Newsmax Now update, a U.S. military helicopter is forced to make an emergency landing in Japan. Coming up, an update on the crew's condition after the crash, plus a Newsmax exclusive with Rich Lowry, the editor of the National Review, his take on what's really behind President Obama's pivot to income inequality. Next.
Men, this is the time in your life when you have more freedom to travel, more time for leisure, including an active lifestyle, even a renewed intimacy. The last thing you want is the hassle of an aging prostate. Frequent trips to the bathroom also keep you awake at night. But here's good news. Renowned physician Dr. David Brownstein believes that prostate concerns do not have to be an inevitable part of aging. As a result, Dr. Brownstein has recently developed Prostate Revive, the dietary supplement specifically formulated to help improve and sustain normal prostate function. Learn more about how you can receive a 30-day supply of Prostate Revive. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit prostaterevive.com/special for complete details. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate, while supplies last. Try Prostate Revive for 30 days at prostaterevive.com/special. That's prostaterevive.com/special.
In 2013, half of your friends, family, and neighbors may lose their jobs, and you may be forced to watch helplessly as you are robbed of 90% of your life savings, all while your home's value is eradicated. Controversial economist Robert Wiedemer believes we will soon stare down a secret crisis that will rival the Great Depression. It was Wiedemer's 2005 book, America's Bubble Economy, that warned of coming meltdowns in our housing and stock markets. Washington did not heed his call, and folks on Main Street lost $50 trillion from the recession. His New York Times best-selling book, Aftershock, predicted our federal debt and dollar would be the next bubbles to burst. And now, Robert Wiedemer has released a startling video with shocking evidence the powers that be have tried to ban. But that hasn't stopped 50 million people from getting the truth. Join us at aftbook.com. That's aftbook.com.
And welcome back. 2 people were injured after a U.S. Navy helicopter made an emergency landing south of Tokyo on Monday afternoon and turned over on its side. The helicopter crash landed in an area known as Kinagawa. According to emergency crews, a mechanical problem caused the crash, not human error. 4 crew members were on board. 2 of the crew members had to be taken to the hospital with injuries, but everyone is expected to recover. And Rich Lowry, editor of the National Review, tells Newsmax TV in an exclusive interview that President Obama doesn't like it when Americans are too rich. In a speech this month, Obama said income inequality is the defining challenge of our time.
He, of course, wouldn't ever say that explicitly, but basically having a lot of rich people offends his sense of aesthetics and his sense of justice.
And that's going to do it for this edition of your Newsmax Now Update. I'm John Bachman reporting from New York. Now here's the Steve Malzberg Show live.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studios, this is the Steve Malzberg Show. Be a part of the action by calling toll-free 1-877-Newsmax. That's 1-877-639-7629. Or email Steve at malzbergshow@newsmax.com. Here is Steve Malzberg.
He got drunk, then jumped behind the wheel of his pickup truck and plowed down 4 people in a drunken haze. So why isn't Ethan Couch behind bars? Keep in mind, he's just 16, too young to legally drive with any alcohol in his system. And in this case, his blood alcohol measured .24, 3 times the legal limit in Texas. Eric Boyle's wife and daughter were both killed.
We had over 180 years of life taken, future life, not 180 years lived, but 180 years of future life taken. And 2 of those were my wife and daughter.
It's heartbreaking, heart-wrenching. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. We talked a little bit about this last week, I do believe, where 16-year-old Ethan Couch, North Texas teen from an affluent family, was sentenced to 10 years of probation after he killed 4 pedestrians when he lost control of his speeding pickup truck while driving drunk. This after he and his friends were caught on video robbing a convenience store, I believe, of beer and alcohol. And he was sentenced by a judge to 10 years of probation after he confessed to intoxication manslaughter in the crash which occurred this past June. I want to put up, can we put up the, is she ready to go? Okay, we're joined right now, ladies and gentlemen, by a therapist who coined the term affluenza. Not influenza, affluenza. Affluenza was used by the defense here. They had a psychiatrist or an expert defense witness testify, a psychologist, who said the boy suffered from affluenza growing up in a house where the parents were preoccupied with arguments that led to divorce. Let's welcome in Jesse O'Neill. Hello, Jesse.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.
No problem.
That definition, is that definition accurate, growing up in a house where parents were preoccupied with arguments that led to divorce? Is that affluenza?
No, that's not affluenza.
Okay, what is affluenza?
Affluenza is the inability to delay gratification and tolerate frustration, a loss of future motivation, a false sense of entitlement, low self-esteem, lack of self-worth, and frequently a loss of emotional affect.
All right, so how would any of that enter into a defense of a 16-year-old who robbed a liquor store or a grocery store with liquor, whatever, got into a car with a bunch of his friends drunk, and sped and killed 4 people? What part of that description enters into his defense in your view?
Well, frequently affluenza applies to wealthy kids, although oftentimes it applies to children at the opposite end of the spectrum as well. So the money that was obviously played a part in this child's upbringing provides a big cushion, a Band-Aid for all of the wrong behavior that might have gone on. I call it the buyout principle. Parents that buy their children out of the consequences of their negative behavior.
All right, but of the, not to interrupt, but of the, because I'm a little confused for my own edification, from the description of influenza that you coined. Affluenza. I'm sorry. Oh God. Right. What in that description do you believe could have been or should have been or was used as a defense? Because it seems to me that the media, I didn't see the trial, is saying, well, he was rich and he never suffered any consequences. He was never punished. His parents were getting a divorce. They always fought, ignored him. He didn't know right from wrong. But I'm trying to, of all the words you use to describe what goes into affluenza, which ones do you believe apply in this case to this Ethan Couch?
Well, number one, I don't think it's a valid defense for murder. But I think the part of affluenza that applies to this young man is the inability to delay gratification and tolerate frustration. Obviously, there's some other addiction problems. He's been bought out of past behavior, and he's been bought out of this behavior. So
I'm so glad you said that. But first of all, I'm also glad you said you would not have taken the stand and testified that no. Your definition, and you're the originator of the term affluenza, yes, applied here. So you don't believe that it should have been used as a defense here, or that it's a legitimate defense here, correct?
No, I do not believe it's a legitimate defense for murder. I do believe that it plays in to this particular young man's pathology and his dysfunction. From what I've read about him, he fits the standard picture of an affluenza-ridden adolescent, but there are, thousands and millions of kids walking around in our country with affluenza who don't go out and get drunk and plow down 4 people and murder them.
Okay, so, but before I get to you're right, the millions of kids walking around with your definition of affluenza, before we get to that, one other thing, and you hit on it, and this is what I couldn't understand either. You said, and he's been bought out of this one too. I don't know about any others that he was definitely bought out of, but this one, you're right. To me, the judge should have said, wait a minute. If your defense is that his parents kept buying him out of trouble and therefore he had no sense of right and wrong or whatever, well, now you're asking me to have him be bought out of trouble by putting him in this $500,000 rehab place, which only this guy's father could afford. And so I'm as a judge now, you're asking me to continue to buy him out and to perpetuate the problem. Am I right or wrong?
Right. Well, you're right, but I also am not sure that there's any good answer. I don't think that putting him into the penal system as it stands today in our country would have been productive. He is 16 years old, and I'm not sure that sending him to a $450,000 rehab center is going to be productive. I think it possibly has a better chance than prison. But, you know, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't have a lot of faith in any of that treatment. As Dr. Drew said the other night on CNN, he said the treatment should have taken place a long time ago.
All right, but I'm sorry to interrupt. We're talking to a Jesse O'Neill, therapist who coined the term affluenza in the 90s. You're right. There are millions of kids, under your definition, millions of kids. Now, you don't think it applies to murder. But if these kids rob, steal, I don't know if you think it applies to rape, attack, beat up. You think that they should all be able to use the defense of affluenza, or a good percentage of them, or even half of them, and get off on that?
I don't think they
Oh, you froze. You froze. Say it again. You froze on the Skype. Go ahead, say it again.
I'm sorry.
No.
I said they could certainly use it as part of the defense, but I don't think it stands alone. It's a contributing factor. The inability to delay gratification and tolerate frustration, which comes to a lot of our youth today because of the way our culture is set up, the never enough mentality, referencing ourselves on the outside, how much money we make, the type of house we live in, more is always better.
But that applies to adults also.
Exactly.
Well, if we have people using that as a defense, then we're a lawless society.
Right. Well, that's a whole nother topic. But yes, and so that's why I'm saying I don't think it is a standalone defense. I think it contributes to a lot of the dysfunction in our country in terms of drug abuse, alcoholism, credit card debt.
I got one more, but we only have 50 seconds. I hate to keep interrupting, but I want to get one more question in. Why don't you change the name from affluenza if you say it also applies at the other end of the spectrum?
Because it's about money. It's not about.
But you just said it applies at the other end of the spectrum when kids don't have money.
Children of poverty and children of affluence share the same personality traits.
All right. Well, why pick on affluenza? Why not call it, put something in the middle or whatever, change it based on one of the traits of affluenza? Why imply it's only affluent kids?
It's not only affluent
I know,
kids.
But you're calling it affluenza. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
that's my point. That's my point.
The word's gotten a lot of attention.
I know. Well, if you come up with a good one, then you can credit me for encouraging you to change it. Doctor, thank you. Thank you very much. Have a Merry Christmas. Dr. Jesse O'Neill, therapist here, Steve Malzberg Show. Coming back. Don't go away.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
Larry works on the construction site when he's not held up with constipation. Mary sits all day at a desk, which does little to relieve gas and bloating. You can't schedule abdominal discomfort, but you can help alleviate it with Bactipro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Bactipro is the fiber probiotic supplement that comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. It includes the most essential ingredients necessary to help support your healthy digestive and immune function. Experience the results. Learn how you can receive a 30-day supply of Bactipro. Just visit Bactipro.com/offer. All you cover is a $4.95 shipping fee. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Do something about your digestive health now. Get your 30-day supply at Bactipro.com/offer. That's BACTIPRO.com/offer. Limited time only. Bactipro.com/offer.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-625-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So cancel the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. Right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV. Cancel the cable, cut costs, and get more. 1-855-625-MY-TV. 1-855-625-MY-TV.
This is the worst weather we've seen in quite some time, folks. and I don't see any end in sight. People have been calling in from across the state complaining their basements are flooding. One guy said he now has an indoor swimming pool in his basement. I told him he needs the waterproofing innovations from Basement Systems. If you want a dry basement or crawl space that will weather any kind of storm, you need the patented solutions from Basement Systems. You've seen them on home makeover shows throughout the country. With a lifetime warranty, every solution is custom designed for your basement. You can finally have that room you've always wanted with our total basement finishing system. Call now for a free estimate, and you'll never have to worry about storms like these again.
Call now for your free basement inspection at 800-516-9794, 800-516-9794. Learn how to waterproof your basement now. Call this number, 800-516-9794, 800-516-9794.
If your prostate is giving you problems and your doc says it's just part of getting older, be wary. Renowned physician and author Dr. David Brownstein thinks this is baloney. He's discovered a link between aging and prostate health and believes prostate concerns do not have to be an inevitable part of aging. That's why he created Prostate Revive.
Hi, I'm Dr. David Brownstein. I personally formulated Prostate Revive to include the most essential natural ingredients available to help promote a healthy prostate gland and optimal urinary function.
The producers of Dr. Brownstein's Prostate Revive are so thrilled with the positive feedback from satisfied customers that for a limited time, they are willing to send you your first month's supply free. Plus, call now and you'll also receive Dr. Brownstein's special report, A Doctor's Guide to a Healthy Prostate. For details on getting your free bottle, call 1-800-596-REVIVE. That's 1-800-596-REVIVE. Take control with Prostate Revive. Call now while supplies last to claim your risk-free bottle at 1-800-596-REVIVE.
This is not your typical Screamfest talk show.
No.
This is the next generation of talk radio. Here is Steve Malzberg.
The Washington Redskins have benched RG3, quarterback Robert Griffin III. Well, he had a great first year in Washington. He showed incredible promise. Then the whole thing fell apart. To which President Obama said, "Tell me about it." But you know, I'm just telling you what he said. No. Well, this week, as you know, President Obama attended Nelson Mandela's memorial service in South Africa. Hundreds of world leaders were there. And President Obama said it felt strange to listen to these world leaders in person rather than eavesdropping on their phone calls. It was just to actually see them talk. It was so odd.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. By the way, at the bottom of the hour, former New York Republican Congressman Vito Fossella. Is he making a comeback? Is he going to go up against an incumbent Republican in his old district in a primary in 2014? Oh, only he knows, and we will share it with you at the bottom of the hour. And then a center, a Chinese city, a China city, if you will, in the Catskills in New York State. What's that all about? Oh, all that is straight ahead. You got to stay right here on the Steve Malzberg Show. That was Jay Leno, of course, comparing Obama to RG3. First year, everything was great, and then it all fell apart. And here's more from Leno, cut 13.
In one of the most bizarre defense strategies we've ever heard of, attorneys for Couch blame the boy's parents for his behavior that night, all because of how they raised him. All
right, my mistake, ladies and gentlemen. No, should be Leno, cut 13. Let's see if we can.
You know Obamacare and committee have in common? You can't get either one online. It's basically, you have to, you can't, I'm just telling you. Well, actually, that is not a legitimate comparison. To be fair, there's no fine for not getting chlamydia, so you're okay.
What do Obamacare and chlamydia have in common? Whoa, that's really pushing it for Jay Leno, my friends. That's really pushing it. All right, Jay Leno, and from Jay Leno we go to Bob Barker. Bob Barker, who turned 90 years old the day, I think last Thursday, on Frank Sinatra's birthday. They shared the same birthday, 8 years apart. Sinatra turned 98. deceased, of course, posthumously, and Bob, well, you don't turn 98 posthumously, you know what I mean. And Bob Barker turned 90. Come on down. The Price is Right, former Price is Right host, big animal activist, backing a Republican candidate. That's right, C.W. Bill Young. A special election. He endorsed the Republican candidate in the special election to replace Congressman C.W. or Bill Young, who recently passed away in office, I should say, unfortunately. And here's how Bob Barker put it. Cut 23.
I'm David Jolly, and I approve this message.
Folks, when you get to be as young as I am, you call it like you see it. That's why I'm supporting David Jolly for Congress. I admired David as he worked alongside my good friend Bill Young, helping wounded veterans, protecting our seniors and children, and by standing up for Pinellas with character and honor.
David Jolly for Congress.
Because with Jolly, the choice is right.
There you go. Kudos. Kudos to Bob Barker. The choice is right. I don't know if he meant that, but that, with being right on the political spectrum. Anyway, I want to have time to get this in. Little Steven Van Zandt. You know him from The Sopranos. You know him from Bruce Springsteen, the guitar-playing, kerchief-wearing, guitarist. I guess that's what a guitar player is. He's a guitarist. And, he in the 80s blasted in a song. I forget what Reagan. Hated Reagan. And he was on a Huffington Post interview the other day, Little Stevie, and interesting. Talked about him and Bruce and their political differences and similarities. And, Bruce is a big lib. Let's listen to cut 17.
We share most the same ideas, and I'm always encouraging him just to remain independent also, and I think if you endorse a Democrat or Republican, from an independent point of view, it makes that endorsement much more meaningful, so, he campaigned for, I guess, John Kerry and Obama.
Did you endorse Obama when he was running?
No, I didn't. I didn't. I wanted to stay out of this one. I did give Bruce his books, early on, which may have influenced that situation. I don't know.
I don't know. Was it the part about the drug use? Closing the windows in the van and taking in all the marijuana smoke? Is that what convinced Bruce to vote for Obama? Anyway, here's more from Little Stevie, cut 18.
Right now, I feel it's much more important to remain independent, and I just wish, we stopped having the wrong conversation in this country. I really do. It's just so annoying. I mean, it's aggravating year after year, president after president. We waste 2 years talking about health care, and I'm like, why are we talking about health care when we should be talking about health?
Right.
We're talking about the wrong subject.
What do you mean by that? Health?
Well, I spent 6 months a year in Norway, okay? Healthcare is free.
Right.
Okay? Why? Well, healthcare is free in Norway because everybody's healthy.
Healthcare is free in Norway because everybody's healthy. Okay, follow along. And here it comes. Are you ready, all you left-wing nut jobs? Here's cut number 19.
You can't even discuss healthcare in a logical way, And I know his legislation, his thing is going to help a few people, and that's nice. There's a couple of nice things in it. The pre-existing condition, and you stay with your parents till 25. A couple of nice things, but mostly it's almost worthless.
It's almost worthless. Little Stevie admitting that Obamacare has a couple of nice things, pre-existing conditions, you stay on your parents, but it's almost worthless. Wow. Our friend, thanks to our friend, of course, Noel Shepard at Newsbusters for pointing this out and providing the sound at newsbusters.org. Almost worthless. It's worse than almost worthless. It's a disaster. It's throwing everybody off their insurance. They're not going to be able to afford it. It's a redistribution of wealth, Stevie. Stevie. I call him Stevie? Nobody calls me Stevie, so I figured he might like it. Anyway, we're coming back. Vito Fossella, Steve Malzberg's show, right here on Newsmax TV and radio.
The Steve Malzberg Show.
According to the FBI Uniform Crime Report, there are over 5,000 robberies every day. Your home could be at risk of being burglarized. Don't put your loved ones and valuables in jeopardy. For just over $1 per day, your home can be protected from break-ins, fire, and more. Get the latest home security technology from Protect Your Home, your ADT authorized dealer. Over 6 million households sleep better at night with ADT monitored home security. What's more, Protect Your Home is offering you their latest equipment, an $850 value, absolutely free for qualified customers. Protect your loved ones and home today. Call now for licenses and to find out more. The call is free, 1-800-949-8201. That's 1-800-949-8201. Again, 1-800-949-8201. $99 installation charge, 36-month monitoring agreement at $36.99 per month. Payment by credit card or electronic bank account charge. For new homeowner customers with satisfactory credit history only. Local permit fees may be required. Certain restrictions apply. Cannot be combined with any other offer.
We're in the midst of an obesity epidemic, and I'm not surprised. The statistics on obesity mirror an increasing trend of eating out or ordering in. In fact, some people dine out every night, but eating in restaurants is one of the biggest enemies of your heart. When you're in a restaurant, you don't really know what you're getting, and the calorie counts of many restaurant dishes are astronomical. In fact, some single dishes contain more calories than we should eat in an entire day. Eating in fast food restaurants is even worse. A diet of hamburgers, French fries, and shakes constitutes a fast lane to the emergency room. If you really want to help your heart, get in the habit of cooking simple meals at home. Here are 3 easy tips that will make your food taste better than even the best restaurant. Choose the best fruit in season. Your local farmer's market is a great place to start. It will probably still cost less than that pie you were thinking of buying. Get in the habit of using fresh herbs. You can use them in egg white omelets or dust them on the fish you grill or bake. And for a light dessert, choose a square or 2 of dark chocolate that you and your spouse can enjoy. There are lots of ways to make your heart healthy, but there are also lots of ways to damage it. That's why I wrote Fix It, Dr. Crandall's 90-day program. In it, I'll tell you how to kickstart your metabolism every day, how to pick the best diet for you, how to stop hunger from sabotaging your diet, the 7 superfoods for your heart. I'm Dr. Chauncey Crandall, and thanks for watching this Heart Health Minute.
Imagine if you had a secret code for making money, a code buried deep within biblical texts.
A code that certain investment titans have quietly exploited to amass billions.
And what if this code could be used by you today to unlock vast amounts of wealth safely and ethically?
Investment expert and former pastor Sean Hyman says there is such a code. He calls it the Biblical Money Code. Sean credits this code for helping him turn his father's $40,000 retirement account into $396,000.
And today you have a chance to tap into this life-changing biblical money code by visiting moneycode411.com.
That's moneycode411.com.
At moneycode411.com, you will find out how you can use this biblical money code in your own life to get out of debt and invest for profits.
That's moneycode411.com.
Microphones hot. Satellite link established. Studio lights illuminated. Cameras rolling. Audio and video encoders firing ones and zeros. Internet stream. Streaming. The most technology advanced radio show is on the air. Here's the captain of this enterprise, Steve Malzberg.
And welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is a man who I've talked to many, many times. He is former congressman from the district I used to live in, good old Bay Ridge, and, of course, Staten Island, right across the bridge into Staten Island in New York. We welcome in Vito Fossella. Hello, sir.
Hi, Steve. How you doing today?
Good. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that.
Thank you. Same to you.
Now, there's all kinds of speculation. I'm looking at a report here at Sylvie.com, which is a Staten Island website for news from Staten Island, that says it's possible that you might be reseeking your old seat now held by Republican Michael Grimm. Is that true?
Well, yeah, it's true to the extent that there are reports out there. I've been asked, over the last few years about reconsidering and considering running again for office, in particular Congress, that I was privileged to serve and represent, as you mentioned, the great people of Staten Island and parts of Brooklyn. And what I've frankly said, I'm on a very good spot in my life. Things that are important to me are in good shape. And as much as I am, for lack of a better word, flattered and humbled by the request, I have no plan to seek a return to public office, and specifically that of Congress. And I guess it was in the last week, it sort of took a different turn when a local reporter was asking whether there were rumors were true about elected officials, and others asking me, and I frankly said, yes, they have, in Staten Island and in New York and some in D.C., but I have no plan. I'm not saying I've considered public service to be among the more noble callings. That's the reason why I got into it to begin with. I was first elected to the city council in Staten Island and then Congress, and it was a great privilege, a great honor, and in a way to help and shape the policy of this great country. I thought it was wonderful. So I always still applaud those who decide to go into the public arena, those who try their best, try to govern and keep this country strong and free. And perhaps one day down the road I would reconsider, but for now, it's more about just serving my state, my country, and my community in my own little way.
All right. So, of course, you would have to, if you were going to do it for 2014, you would have to know it by now, correct? And start it. So you're ruling out a 2014 challenge to Michael Grimm. Is that accurate?
Well, it's not that I'm planning on it, but I would say I don't think it's necessary to decide, frankly, today or next week or next month.
Okay, all right.
So I don't think that's a prerequisite to deciding. But I want to be clear, there is no plan.
Okay. And do you believe that, I have personally some issues with Michael Grimm. I think he ran as a staunch conservative and has voted and governed far to the left of that. Do you have problems with his votes in the House? Is that what might make you consider this, or is making you consider this?
Well, if I were to decide to run, whether it be against the incumbent or, frankly, for any office, it would be, do I think that I could make a positive difference and best reflect and represent the views of the people I seek to represent? In other words, for the sake of argument, if I were to decide to run for Congress, it would be that I just thought I could do the best job, regardless of who's on the other side. So it's not that I want to start picking and choosing or deliberating about anyone's voting record. It's a question of, am I prepared, or would I be prepared to do it in such a way that the people could sort of look to me as somebody who can do the job the best. I think that's anybody running for office should always look at it that way, as opposed to when I've come across people throughout my life. I've been around politics for quite a while. Not everybody goes into it for the right reasons. I give them credit for trying, but not everyone, I think, goes in it for the right reasons, and that would be the only reason I would do so.
We're talking to a former Congressman Vito Fossella, Republican, formerly of New York delegation, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. And it's interesting you said the people of Staten Island. This online publication, which is Sylvie, SILIVE.com, is running an online poll. And the last time I checked, over 81% of the people, when asked, would you vote for Vito Fossella, said yes, as opposed to the 18% who said no. So that's, I mean, that's got to mean something, correct?
Well, it's very nice to sort of hear and to see and to know. And I've been blessed throughout my life, living on Staten Island and getting to know so many folks and thinking I try to make a difference while I was in office. So that's very humbling to hear, and it's not going to be. It's better than the other way around. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
But it's still not going to put me in a position now to do it. All I can say is I'm grateful to the people who elected me all those years and still, I guess, stand by me, and still. Would like to see me re-enter the public arena.
All right, let's talk about making a difference. If you were in the House right now, where would you be positioned? Would you have voted for this budget agreement? Would you be, one of those who had favored the battling the president over the debt ceiling and the budget previously, a few months ago? Where would you fit in right now?
I would say, without getting to, again, specific votes, because I remember being in Congress, I probably cast over 10,000 of them. It's just that I always look at it as, people elect individuals to exercise their judgment and stick to a particular set of principles or philosophy. And I try to do that in the 3 years in the council and almost 12 in Congress. I believed in the free enterprise. I believed in limited government. I believe that individuals, when left to their own, strengths and values, really make this country great. And the great answers and the great solutions in this country lie and rest and are vested in the people of Staten Island and Brooklyn and across the country, as opposed to the big decision makers in Congress or in Washington, D.C. So I would just sort of say that when possible, I would vote for lower tax rates. When possible, I would seek pro-growth economic policies. When possible, would keep this country strong and free of radical elements who we saw, for example, on 9/11 wanted to take this country down, and we recognize that this country is still the last bastion of freedom and opportunity. So whenever those sort of issues or votes come before me, I would look at it through that prism. And I guess on balance, I still think that when the American people have money in their own pocket, they spend it more wisely than people in Washington, D.C.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about Obamacare. Do you believe that that there will be a sea change? I mean, more seats gained in the House and a takeover of the Senate based on this? Well, what is your opinion of what we've seen so far, way beyond just the computer fiasco?
Well, this is an extension of my sort of view, and I spoke out about this years ago, is that when you seek to take over 1/6, 1/7 of the economy of a few people, by the way, many of whom wouldn't even be able to run a hospital, and then say, but they're going to be responsible for putting in all these rules and regulations and a bureaucracy that could crush the Titanic, that this is what we're ending up with. So, it's coming to those who sort of who fought, not just stood, but fought against it. Those folks are being proven right. And I think what's happened now in the last few months is the American people are seeing in plain view what a sort of disaster it's become. And I think as a result, there's no one who can stand up and say this is working and working well. And that's going to have an effect because elections have consequences. People who stood behind this law are now running away from it. And I think what needs to happen between this time and next year is figure out how to best make this problem less of a problem for the American people. I know it's been run over and over and over about people who had their coverage and now lost it. Those folks are, sadly, some of them who supported this new law, I'm sure are regretting it right now, and it's a shame.
No, without a doubt. And, of course, Congressman, that next year they're talking about, by this time next year, there'll be 100 million of us possibly in this boat who are, panicking and getting cancellation notices and have to go on the website and get insurance where the average deductible, they say, is now $5,000. See, that's one word that people, especially young people, people have no idea that it even exists. What's a deductible? And you could get insurance as a youngster for, oh yeah, cell phone bill, $30, $50, but you're gonna have to pay the first $5,000 of your expenses out of your own pocket, and they have no idea about this.
Yeah, and it goes. You're right. It's manifested in those little not little things. It's manifested in people's lives every day. People who are worried about saving for their kids' college tuition, or perhaps buying a second home, or perhaps getting a new car. Then that money becomes fungible. So when that money is eaten up by these new laws and new monstrosities, it starts to hurt people. And I think that's the message that really resonates most clearly and convincingly. In addition to, obviously, the notion that people just want to be free and enter into decisions that are best for them and their families, along comes this concept and contraption that smothers them and basically limits their choices, limits their options, and starts to adversely affect their families when they did nothing wrong. They go to school, they go to work, some families working 2 and 3 jobs, just to do what's right, and along comes this big arm of government into their homes and saying, we want $5,000, even though they did nothing wrong. And I think that's the big apology that needs to be given to the American people right now.
Absolutely. It's a horrific redistribution of wealth, and they know exactly what they're doing. All right, listen, this has been a great conversation. I know if and when you do announce, we'll be hearing from you, if not first, then at least second. And I want you to have a great holiday and Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you soon, sir.
Have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year, Steve. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you, Vito. Take care.
So much.
That's Vito Fossella, ladies and gentlemen. Good guy. And whether or not he runs again, we shall see. Now, this is me talking, not Vito. I have lots of problems with Grimm. Certainly, I supported Grimm when he was running, when I was doing my show over at WOR Radio at the time. I supported him big time, had him on the show lots of times, had him on the show after he won. And then he started, moving way, way, way away from the way he ran, in my opinion. And, I'd have him on, and then, we would discuss afterward with callers the interview that we had. And he or someone he knew was listening and didn't like that I was talking about him after the interview was done. Well, that's what talk show hosts do. We talk about current events. I had one columnist, Ruben Navarrete, who wrote a column about our interview on the show. And then I started talking about the column, and then he accused me of talking about him behind his back. Everybody I'm talking about on this show, I'm talking about behind their back. I mean, and when he wrote about me behind my back, if you want to go that way. So, it's crazy. So Grimm doesn't like me anymore because, I talked about him behind his back. I don't know what the sensitivity is. If you're a public official, people are going to talk about you when you're not sitting in front of them. Anyway, neither here nor there. It's somewhere, though. All right, we're coming back, ladies and gentlemen. Final segment of the Steve Malzberg Show, and you're not going to want to miss it. I promise you that. So keep it tuned right here. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV, I had to think, and radio.
The Steve Malzberg.
Constipation, gas, bloating, most people suffer through. But now there's a simple solution for occasional digestive problems called Bactipro. Developed by holistic medical doctor David Brownstein, Bactipro is the fiber probiotic formula that supports healthy digestive and immune health. And it comes in the form of an easy-to-eat, tasty wafer. Bactipro contains 6 powerful strains of beneficial probiotic bacteria, dietary fiber, and bacteria-nourishing prebiotics, plus powerful antioxidants. Now you can receive a 30-day supply of Bactipro. Just cover a $4.95 shipping fee. Visit Bactipro.com/special. Act now, and you'll also be given instant access to our downloadable special report, A Doctor's Guide to Probiotics and Your Health. Improve your digestive health now. Learn how you can receive your 30-day supply at Bactipro.com/special. That's BACTIPRO.com/special. Bactipro.com/special.
Drug, alcohol, and gambling addiction can be devastating for you and your loved ones. Don't let the disease of addiction ruin everything you've worked so hard for. The Treatment Helpline has helped thousands of people just like you take control of their addictions and live healthier, cleaner, and happier lives. You are not alone. Now there's hope. The Treatment Helpline has helped people just like you overcome their addiction. If you or a loved one is suffering from a drug, alcohol, or gambling addiction, let us help you today. Call 1-800-813-9821. Our seasoned addiction treatment professionals can show you how to use your private health insurance to help cover the costs of this life-changing program. Call now and get a free confidential consultation. 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821. Help is only a phone call away. Call 1-800-813-9821. That's 1-800-813-9821.
Meet John and Nancy. Like many people, John and Nancy have spent their whole lives working hard, saving their money and investing wisely, knowing that it would pay off in the end. But the reality is, today's world is not the same as it was. John and Nancy's stocks have taken them on a serious roller coaster ride, and it's all but destroyed their retirement funds. Their house is not even close to being worth what they paid, and to boot, their middle-class paychecks no longer cover their costs. All that hard work and smart investing has gotten them nowhere. In fact, they are no longer thinking about when they will retire, they're wondering if they'll retire. Then one day, John and Nancy heard about a man named Tom Hutchison, a veteran of Wall Street for over 2 decades. Tom noticed that the wealthy invested differently than normal people, and their methods seemed to be a secret they didn't want to share. So Tom left his job, compiled the strategies, and published them in the controversial book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns. John and Nancy immediately picked up a copy, began investing, and never looked back. Thanks to Powerful Secrets, John and Nancy now have investments that pay up to 20% a year. They learned about unique tax-advantaged investments, and their favorite chapter revealed a strategy that anyone can use to turn $50,000 into $1 million. Now, John and Nancy have control of their financial future in this new reality, and they have peace of mind about their investments that they never had before. Best of all, they are back on track to a secure retirement. To get your free copy of the book, Powerful Secrets to Achieve Superior Returns, simply visit www.myfinancialage.org.
If you're a man over 40, your prostate could be forcing you to urinate frequently, even disrupting your sleep multiple times each night. You're not alone. Over half of men over 40 experience age-related prostate concerns. Fortunately, prominent medical doctor David Brownstein believes that aging prostate concerns are not inevitable. That's why Dr. Brownstein developed Prostate Revive, an advanced dietary supplement containing a unique blend of 15 ingredients designed to promote optimal prostate health. So men, as part of this new radio promotion, you now have the opportunity to claim your own 30-day supply of Prostate Revive, containing saw palmetto, beta-cytosterol, and numerous other prostate helpers. Just cover a $4.95 shipping and handling charge. Plus, if you act now, you'll also get a doctor's guide to a healthy prostate as a bonus gift. Please visit prostaterevive.com/radio for details on getting your 30-day supply of Prostate Revive and free report. That's prostaterevive.com/radio. Do something about those annoying age-related prostate concerns. Visit prostaterevive.com/radio now while supplies last.
Newsmax magazine every month.
Get off the sidelines and be a part of the show. Call Steve toll-free at 1-877-NEWSMAX. That's 1-877-639-7629. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, in our final segment of the Monday edition of the Steve Malzberg Show, said that all off the top of my head. We're joined by David North, fellow at the Center for Immigration Studies. Hello, David.
Hi, nice to hear your voice.
Nice to talk to you. Okay, so explain to me. I have friends who live up in the area of the Catskills, and I love going up there. And I wrote him, and I forwarded this piece that I saw about a week ago, and I said, do you know about this? And he wrote back, yep. What is going on? U.S. immigration officials are considering a proposal from Chinese investors to create a multi-billion-dollar development in the Catskills in New York, upstate New York, called China City. Now, this isn't like Chinatowns that exist in various cities around the country. This is huge, right?
It is. It would cover 3 square miles, and it would cost $6 billion. And lots and lots of people would live there, and there would be a theme park and a college and a high school and all sorts of stuff. And yes, it's before the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, and they haven't quite decided on this, but it relates to a program that I'm not very fond of, which is the Immigrant Investor Program, or EB-5. And if an alien puts $500,000 into one of these programs that have been approved by the government,
You get a visa, right?
you get a visa. Not only do you get a visa, your spouse and your kids get visas too. So it's a whole bunch of visas for $500,000, and as yet the government hasn't approved and hasn't disapproved this program, but it's sitting there, and some people in the area are sort of worried about it because it'll make such a huge impact on what is now a pristine wilderness area.
Well, that's true, too, and I know that there are some bears up there, too, so I'd hate to think that what displacing them might do to the community. But that aside, especially when I go up there, but that aside, I mean, how commonplace is something like this? And do we have anything like this, anything else like this from a different country or involving China anywhere else in the United States?
Well, let me divide that into two answers. One is the program, which is the Employment-Based 5 program, which is a continuing, I think, unfortunate part of our immigration policy, in which people can put up $500,000 and come to the United States with their spouse and their kids because of the $500,000. Now, that's ongoing. That's not. I think it's not commendable, but it's there. As to putting together such a huge program with these funds, that's unusual. I don't think that there's another one like it in the country. Usually these are much smaller programs. If somebody wants to build a hotel or a shopping center or something like that with EB-5 money, that's done. But building a whole new city, that's new and different, and it also runs into a certain amount of local opposition and runs into some very serious environmental problems.
Yeah, all right. Well, I just never heard of anything like this. Okay, so let's assume that this is built. What are the downsides besides, as you said, pristine wildlife, et cetera? I mean, from a national security point of view, an immigration point of view, if you will, also, what are the downsides here?
Well, I have one set of problems with it. I don't think you should sell visas to foreigners for anything.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay, now, beyond that, there's a very sound, decent organization called the Falun Gong, which is a Chinese organization that deals with exercise and philosophical and religious things.
Yeah, sure.
It's persecuted by the Chinese government. They are vehemently opposed to this on the grounds, and this is their pitch, that some Chinese Communist government money will be funding this thing, and they see it as a way that certain number of pro-Chinese government businessmen will come to this country. They're opposed to it, so there's a split in the Chinese community. Unfortunately, the Falun Gong hasn't made this public yet, but I have it on very good authority that they're upset about this and complaining about it to the government. So there is that point of view over and above the environmental problems.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And as far as I mean, we could assume I would assume that we could assume that a lot of these people who would live in this city or would gain entry, or even some who would gain visas, would be spies.
Could be. I mean, Falun Gong knows more about this sort of thing than I do, and they're worried about that. And Senator Grassley, on a different note, on a different part of this program, has said that another segment of the program had been used or had been attempted to be used by Iranian spies. So here's a technique for coming to the United States without
unbelievable
much in the way of scrutiny. All you do is put up $500,000 and bingo, you're here.
This is such news to me. I can't tell you and how disturbing it is. David North, fellow at the Center for Immigration Studies. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you. Take care. All right, folks. A Chinese city that might be built, China City, might be built in upstate New York in the Catskills. I used to go to the Catskills once in a while when I was a kid. bungalow colony. I didn't stay at one, but I visited a friend who's now my cardiologist. Go figure. All right, Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio. We're coming back tomorrow, 3 to 6 Eastern. Thank you.